Hello and welcome to another episode of Vimoh Live. This is a podcast that is recorded live on YouTube and Twitch on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. If you're listening to this right now in the live stream, hello, hi. There is a link pinned to the chat by clicking which you can come on screen and we can talk. And if you're listening to this at a later point of time on an audio app, you're probably doing it on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Ghana.com, Geo7, etc. And if you're doing that, first of all, thank you. Second of all, leave a rating and review wherever possible because it really helps the show. This podcast is about contemporary Indian culture, but since so many times we end up talking about religion, this show is also about my position on religion, which is atheism. That is why, at least these live sessions for now are called the Atheist Hour. What we do is that I am here for an hour and people come and we talk about either they disagree with me and we try to sort it out, or they agree with me and we talk about something. Last week's episode was a recorded episode about AI. If you have not seen it, I just want to remind everyone that you can still check it out because the conversation with Vinayak was very fruitful. I talked about AI and the future of art and artists because there is a lot of conversation happening about that topic right now. So if you haven't checked that episode out, please do. And with that, let me proceed. I'll just remind everyone that you can support the channel by clicking the join button below. And you can also support it on patreon.com/Vimoh. And you can make a one-time donation at vimoh.stck.me. All the information is on the screen. I'm a full-time content creator. And if you support my work, it will help me pay bills and continue doing the work that I do. So with that, let me take a. There are a few people in the queue. Hold on. Let me read comments and get to you. Ashutosh is here. Apekshit is here. Messi, Purvesh, Harsh. Hello everyone. Hi. Thank you for joining. Purvesh says hello. Vimoh. Hope you're doing well, health wise and all. Yeah, I'm okay. I just have a like it's the weather is bad, so I get like I have a little bit of a pain in my left shoulder because I slept in a twisted manner last night. Uh, Aside from that, I'm perfectly all right. Purvesh says, if possible, answer the question I have asked on Discord about AI's effect on people's lives politically and religiously. I'm thinking of making a separate video about it because the question is very wide and I don't know if I can do it justice just as a live stream question. If you want to come on screen and talk about it, we can because then it'll be easier to process. Pramod says, hi, I like your videos. They're informative. Thank you, Pramod. Thank you for saying that. Much appreciated. The first person on the call is uh, Hussein SW. Hi, Hussein.
Hello, Vimoh.
Hello. What's up?
Good, good. So
Okay.
I just wanna ask you about. I just wanna ask you about your views on two religions, majorly two religions in India,
Hmm.
Hinduism and Islam.
Hmm.
How they how they kept their people in echo chambers, like you said in your previous videos.
Hmm.
Like they like seen like Praveen Mohan, people like Praveen Mohan,
Hmm.
who just justify a lot of things like he's in ancient technologies and temple. He
Yeah.
talks about it in videos, and I found it totally bullshit. Like
Oh, yeah, totally.
so,
Like there are like first of all, you asked about Hinduism and Islam, and then you went to Pravid Mohan. It's not as if Hindus are the only ones who do it. There are Muslims also who spread a lot of
no, I
misinformation
just
about.
I'm
Yeah.
like you can relate to it because you are
Yeah.
that's
I get it. I get it. I come from a Hindu background. I
like
get it.
uh,
And yeah, the
and
echo chamber, like the reason I'm harping on this is because I don't actually understand the question. You have just given me your opinion, and I agree with you. But what are you asking?
like I'm asking your views. Like how can I talk in Hindi?
Yeah, sure.
So वो लाइक जैसे वो लोग उनको बांध के रखते हैं, जैसे कि मैं अगर इस्लाम की बात करूँ तो यहाँ पे डर काफी होता है, ये मेजर रीजन है। और प्रवीण मोहन का एग्जाम्पल मैंने इसलिए दिया आपको
Hmm.
क्योंकि लाइक वो एक कहते हैं ना, वो प्राइड में बंधे रहते हैं
Hmm.
कि हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी इतनी
Hmm.
एडवांस थी पहले। तो
हाँ.
लाइक मे बी लाइक मैं जब इस्लाम से मूव ऑन किया तो लाइक मैं हिंदुइज्म की तरफ काफी अट्रैक्टिव था। तो उस टाइम पे
Hmm.
मैं काफी काफी एनकाउंटर होता था प्रवीण मोहन जैसे
Hmm.
लोगों से।
Hmm.
लाइक
So,
आपने बोला कि खाली हिंदुइज्म में भी नहीं होता, इस्लाम में भी होता। तो वही मैं बताने की कोशिश कर
हाँ.
रहा, इस्लाम में काफी डर होता कि या फिर वो होता है कि वो भी लाइक प्राइड में फँस जाते हैं, जैसे कि हम सुपीरियर हैं, हम मूर्ति
हुँ,
पूजा नहीं करते वगैरह, वगैरह।
हुँ।
तो
आई
ये
थिंक
2 कारण हैं, लेकिन आपकी तरफ से मैं पूछना था क्या कारण है जिससे लोग बंधे रह जाते हैं, सोचते हुए भी पढ़े-लिखे लोग भी कैसे फँस जाते हैं इन सब में?
देखो, इसका एक्चुअली पढ़े-लिखे होने के साथ कोई संपर्क नहीं है। इसका संपर्क एक ही चीज़ के साथ है, वो है बचपन में हमें क्या सिखाया जाता है। अगर एक सपोज़ तुम एक मुस्लिम घर में पैदा हुए और बड़े हुए, मैं एक हिंदू घर में पैदा हुआ और बड़ा हुआ और हम दोनों को कुछ चीज़ें सिखाई गई हमारी संस्कृति के बारे में, हमारे वे ऑफ़ लाइफ़ के बारे में और उनमें सब हमेशा अच्छी बातें होती है। कोई बुरी बातें करना नहीं चाहता। बुरी बातें पढ़ने के लिए तुमको क्रिटिकल टेक्स्ट पढ़ने पड़ते हैं और जब वो पढ़ते हो तो फैमिली में फिर और झमेले होते हैं। सो अगर कोई किसी भी धर्म में बड़ा हो रहा है, उसको सबसे पहले तो ये बताया जाएगा कि तुम्हारा धर्म बेस्ट है, वो दूसरे धर्म वाले लोग बड़े खराब हैं। ये हिंदू भी करते हैं बाय द वे, डिस्पाइट सेइंग कि या हम तो हर धर्म को इक्वल मानते हैं वगैरह-वगैरह, कोई नहीं मानता असल में।
या
सो ये जो तुम जिस चीज़ को प्राइड कर रहे हो ना, कि प्राइड की वजह से फँसे रह जाते हैं, वो असल में प्राइड सिर्फ़ नाम का है, असल में वो इन्फीरियॉरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स है। लोग अपने आप को पाते हैं एक ऐसी प्लेस में जहाँ उनके पास अपनी रिलीजियस बिलीफ को जस्टिफाई करने का और कोई तरीका बचता नहीं है। तो वो करते ये हैं कि वो अजीबो-गरीब चीज़ें निकालना शुरू कर दी। ये देखो मुझे यहाँ पे गुंबद दिखा और वहाँ पे एक न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर है। डेफिनिटली बोथ आर द सेम थिंग। Childish arguments presented to justify their religious views. That's it. It's not about pride. That pride is fake pride. अगर प्राइड लेना है तो देश में दूसरी चीज़ें हैं या तुम्हारी लाइफ में ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिसके ऊपर कोई प्राइड ले सकता है। पर ये प्राइड एक्चुअली है नहीं। ये बचपन में इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन किया जाना होता है और फिर बड़े होने के बाद जब पता चलता है कि अरे ये सब तो बकवास है, तब एक इमोशनल नीड जागती है इसको जस्टिफाई करने की और वो जस्टिफिकेशन इन अंधविश्वासों का रूप लेता है।
तो मैं यही पूछ रहा था कि लाइक ये मैंने 2 चीज़ नोटिस की, या तो डर या फिर प्राइड। लाइक
हुँ,
ये लोग या तो आपको
हुँ,
डराएँगे क्या, या जन्म में ये बनोगे, अगले जन्म में वो बनोगे, या
हुँ, हुँ।
नर्क जाओगे वगैरह, या फिर प्राइड में फँस जाते लोग, आप या फिर आप कह रहे हो फेक प्राइड। लाइक
या
वही 2 चीज़ें।
हाँ, और वो डर और प्राइड एक्चुअली रिलेटेड होते हैं क्योंकि वो प्राइड का एक हिस्सा होता है कि तुम इतने महान हो, इतने महान हो, इतने महान हो, ये देखो वो दूसरे लोग आ रहे हैं तुम्हारी महानता छीनने के लिए। तो प्राइड को मेंटेन करने के लिए डर का इस्तेमाल भी किया जाता है। कुछ लोग असल में इतने प्राउड होते नहीं हैं। तुमने ऐसे लोग देखे होंगे, मैंने तो देखे हैं डेफ़िनिटली, जो कि अपने धर्म को लेके थोड़े बहुत हाँ, है, ठीक है, चलेगा, ऐसे होते हैं। पर आफ्टर अ स्टेडी डोज़ ऑफ दिस प्राइड, दे बिकम रियली डिफेंसिव अबाउट इट। कि हाँ, मैं मतलब गर्व से कहो हम हिंदू हैं या मुसलमान हैं या जो भी हैं। सो ये जो डर होता है, ये प्राइड को फुलाने वाला हवा होता है। इसको फूँक के भरा जाता है और उसकी वजह से कई बार ऐसे लोग भी प्राइड दिखाने लगते हैं, जो कि असल में उतने प्राउड होते नहीं हैं।
मतलब मैंने कई लोग देखे जो जिन जिन जो क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग रखते हैं, उनको पता है लेकिन स्टिल वो बिलीव करते हैं, पता नहीं क्यों? मतलब उनको पता है।
बिकॉज़ ये इट्स नॉट अबाउट रैशनैलिटी राइट? इट्स अबाउट इमोशनैलिटी। रैशनैलिटी के हिसाब से अगर कोई देखने जाए, तो उसको 2 मिनट में पता चल जाएगा कि उसके विश्वास अजीबो-गरीब हैं। पर लोग ये जानते हुए भी पकड़े क्यों रहते हैं? मैंने अभी कुछ दिनों पहले एक क्रिश्चियन पादरी को सुना था, एक अमेरिकन प्रीचर था। वो किसी के साथ तो डिबेट कर रहा था और डिबेट के दौरान डिबेट मैं तुमको थोड़ी देर के लिए म्यूट कर दूँ? तुम्हारे साइड से बहुत साउंड आ रही है। सो वो डिबेट कर रहा था किसी के साथ और डिबेट के दौरान उसको जिसके साथ वो डिबेट कर रहा था, उस वैज्ञानिक ने पूछा कि क्या ऐसा कुछ है, जो मैं तुमको बताऊँगा, प्रूफ़ दूँगा और तुम अपना माइंड चेंज कर लोगे भगवान के बारे में? वो बोला, "नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है।" सो क्लियरली उसने साफ कर दिया कि उसकी पोजीशन रैशनैलिटी के ऊपर बेस्ड है ही नहीं। उसकी पोजीशन एक इमोशनल पोजीशन है और वो साफ-साफ बोल रहा है कि मैं अपना माइंड चेंज करूँगा ही नहीं, चाहे एविडेंस भी मिल जाए। और ऐसे लोगों के साथ तुम ये उम्मीद नहीं कर सकते कि रैशनैलिटी काम आएगी। रैशनैलिटी काम नहीं आती है। कुछ लोगों के साथ आती है, बट आम तौर पर ये तब आती है जब लोग अपने साथ ऑनेस्ट होते हैं। और धर्म का जो इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन का जो साइकिल होता है, वो इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग होता है कि लोग अपने साथ ऑनेस्ट भी नहीं हो पाते हैं कई बार। होल्ड ऑन, आई विल अनम्यूट यू। या
सो अगला क्वेश्चन है मतलब मेरा कि जब ऐसे लोगों से एनकाउंटर मैं करूँ तो मतलब इनको कैसे हैंडल करूँ मैं?
वैसे हर कोई एक जैसा नहीं होता ना, तुमको उनको पूछना पड़ेगा तुम लाइक द क्वेश्चन आई थिंक दैट व्हाट वाज़ इट? अम, भूल रहा हूँ क्या बोल रहा था। देयर वाज़ अ पोस्ट अबाउट लाइक माय पॉइंट इज़ कि हर कोई एक जैसा सोचता नहीं है, हर किसी का कारण अलग-अलग होता है। हाँ, मैट डिलहंटी का जो क्वेश्चन होता है नॉर्मली जब वो एथियस्ट एक्सपीरियंस पे डिबेट करते हैं, उनका क्वेश्चन होता है व्हाट डू यू बिलीव एंड व्हाई? और जब ये तुम किसी से पूछोगे ना, तो पहली बात व्हाट डू यू बिलीव के रिस्पॉन्स में वो अलग-अलग चीज़ें बताएँगे। कोई बोलेगा मैं इस फिलॉसफी स्कूल को मानता हूँ, कोई बोलता है मैं उस धर्म को फॉलो करता हूँ। और व्हाई में कोई लोग बोलेंगे कि इट्स जस्ट इमोशनल फॉर मी, कुछ लोग बोलेंगे देयर इज़ साइंटिफिक एविडेंस, कुछ लोग बोलेंगे देयर कैन बी नो एविडेंस, यू जस्ट हैव टू एक्सेप्ट इट। सो हर किसी का कारण अलग-अलग होता है और जिसका जो कारण होता है उसको रिस्पॉन्ड करने के लिए तुमको अलग-अलग तरीके अपनाने पड़ेंगे। कोई वन साइज़ फिट्स ऑल बनियान नहीं होगा। मतलब ऐसा कुछ नहीं दे सकता मैं तुमको जो कि मतलब एक मंत्र की तरह है जो मैं बोल दूँ, जो तुम किसी के सामने भी बोल दोगे और वो काम आ जाएगा, वैसा तो नहीं होता है।
Next question, my third question is like the one like three of the famous books, holy
हुँ,
books like Bhagavad Gita, Quran, and Bible. Are those books worth reading?
या डेफिनिटली। एज़ अ हिस्टोरिकल टेक्स्ट्स डेफ़िनिटली। अगर हम तुम और मैं नास्तिक हैं और हम समाज में जी रहे हैं, तो हमें ये भी जानना होगा कि जो 90% लोग हैं जो हमारे जैसे नहीं हैं, वो क्या सोचते हैं और कैसे सोचते हैं और किस लिए सोचते हैं और जिन किताबों को वो पढ़ के ये सब सोचते हैं, वो किताबें कहती क्या हैं असल में। मैं तो कहता हूँ कि ज़्यादातर रिलीजियस लोगों ने अपने रिलीजियस टेक्स्ट पढ़े ही नहीं होते हैं। नास्तिक ज़्यादा पढ़ते हैं, क्योंकि उनके असल में आर्ग्यूमेंट्स फॉर्म करने होते हैं, उनको अंडरस्टैंड करने में इंटरेस्ट होता है। धार्मिक लोग इतने इंटरेस्टेड नहीं होते हैं, कई बार। कई लोग होते हैं जो करते हैं, पढ़ते हैं, पर कई लोग नहीं करते हैं। सो मैं ये कहूँगा कि बाइबल, गीता, कुरान सबको पढ़ना चाहिए ताकि पता चले उनमें क्या बुराई है। क्योंकि अगर वो पता नहीं होगा ना, तो हमें कन्फ्यूज़ करने के लिए उनके पास बहुत सारे तरीके हैं। अच्छा तू पहले पढ़ के आ फिर मेरे से बात कर। ये वो लोग कहते हैं जिन्होंने खुद भी कभी नहीं पढ़ा होता है और ये हर धर्म के लोग करते हैं बाय द वे। इट्स अ इट्स अ टैक्टिक टू कन्फ्यूज़ पीपल एंड बाय टाइम। दैट्स व्हाट दे डू।
So another question is
ये हुसैन
uh,
तुम्हारा ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन हाँ?
okay, okay.
हाँ।
So you are saying that the books are worth reading. So like are those books relatable in 21st century for
नो,
people like us,
नो,
atheist,
नो दे आर नॉट।
or
आई एम
like
नॉट सेइंग
general audience?
I am not saying they should be read because they're good books. I'm saying they should be read because they exert a lot of power over our lives, despite the
Hmm.
fact that they're bad books.
So
अगर
like
कोई अगर अगर तुम एक कॉलेज कोर्स में हो,
hmm,
राइट? और तुम्हें कहा जाता है कि तुम्हें एक ऐसे राइटर के ऊपर एक पेपर लिखना है, जिसकी बुक बहुत घटिया थी, तुमको बताना है वो बुक क्यों घटिया थी। वो पेपर लिखने के लिए तुमको वो बुक पढ़नी पड़ेगी ना, बावजूद
hmm, hmm.
इसके कि वो बुक एक्चुअली पढ़ने लायक नहीं है। हम लोग अगर एथिस्ट हैं और हमें बात करनी है उन लोगों से जो कि धार्मिक हैं, हमें कुछ चीज़ें तो जाननी पड़ेगी। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि ये कंपल्सरी है हर किसी के लिए, तुम एथिस्ट हो सकते हो इन किताबों को पढ़े बिना। बट अगर मैं किसी को एडवाइस देने जाऊँ, तो मैं ज़रूर कहूँगा या इट्स वर्थ रीडिंग, नॉट बिकॉज़ दे आर गुड, बट बिकॉज़ इट्स पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ एंड वी हैव टू डील विथ इट।
Like one of the things I noticed in those books, like about there are a lot of things said about, like in Muslim books, there's a lot of things are said about like violence
हुँ, हुँ,
about non-Muslims, or like casteism in uh, books like Manusmriti, and a lot of people say
हुँ,
it exists in Bhagavad Gita and Puranas,
हुँ।
Vedas also. So like I sometimes I thought that I should read those books, but I step back hearing those things. So मतलब पढ़ना
नहीं
चाहिए
बट
कि नहीं, ये एक
देखो, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि पढ़ना ज़रूरी है। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि उनमें उनको पढ़ने में कोई खराबी नहीं है। उनको पढ़ के उन पर विश्वास मत करो, पर उनको एकेडमिक फॉर्म वे में तुम पढ़ सकते हो ताकि तुम बेटर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स फॉर्म कर सको। उनमें सच नहीं है, उनमें हो सकता है तुमको कुछ क्यूट पोएट्री मिले, उनमें हो सकता है तुमको कुछ हिस्टोरिकल रेलेवेंस की चीज़ें मिले, बट उसके अलावा उनको पढ़ने का सिर्फ़ एक ही कारण है और वो ये है कि जब तुम किसी से बात करो, तो तुम अपने आर्ग्यूमेंट्स बेटर फॉर्म कर पाओ। जैसे अभी तुमने बताया ना कि इन किताबों में ये चीज़ें हैं। तुम किसी से डिबेट या डिस्कशन करोगे तो तुम कम से कम इतना पॉइंट कर सकना चाहोगे कि है यार मैंने पढ़ा है इस किताब में है, ये देख प्रूफ। इतना तो कर सकते हो ना। पर इसके बावजूद अगर तुमको पढ़ने में अच्छा नहीं लग रहा तो मत पढ़ो। यू डोंट हैव टू। दे आर नॉट नेसेसरी। आई एम सेइंग इफ समवन कैन रीड देम आई वुड से श्योर गो अहेड। देयर इज़ नथिंग देयर इज़ नो हार्म इन इट एज़ लॉन्ग एज़ यू डोंट
like
बिलीव इन इट।
I, I I have a teacher. I have a teacher in my school.
हुँ,
वो वो जो है वो अपने आप को स्पिरिचुअल बोलते हैं और उन्होंने भी ये टेक्स्ट शायद पढ़े हो, लेकिन उन्होंने मुझे बोला था कि मनुस्मृति काफ़ी बड़ी बुक है तो उसको पढ़ना नहीं चाहिए। लाइक
हुँ,
आई एम लेटर इन द बिफोर इन द क्वेश्चन, पहले जो क्वेश्चन मैंने पूछा था उसमें मैं ये पूछ रहा था कि ऐसे लोगों के कैसे एनकाउंटर, क्योंकि वो अपने आप को स्पिरिचुअल बोलते हैं और वो एस्ट्रोलॉजी वगैरह में बिलीव करते हैं। वो काफ़ी क्वालिफाइड है वैसे। तो मैं
किस
लाइक
चीज़ में? किस चीज़ में क्वालिफ़ाइड है?
अ शायद साइंस उन्होंने शायद पढ़ा है और वो
अच्छा,
पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन वगैरह का
कौन-सा?
उन्होंने बोल रहे थे, पर लाइक वो
राइट, सो
अभी कोई
किसी का क्वालिफ़िकेशन एक एरिया में हो सकता है, इट डज़न्ट मीन यू हैव टू लिसन टू देम अबाउट एवरीथिंग। अगर किसी ने फिज़िक्स में पीएचडी की है, उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि उसको भगवद गीता जब वो भगवद गीता पढ़ने को कहता है, तो तुम्हारा पढ़ना ज़रूरी है क्योंकि उसने फिज़िक्स में पीएचडी किया है। नॉलेज
लाइक
डज़न्ट
मेरी
वर्क लाइक दैट। पीपल हैव
लाइक
टॉपिकल
मैं
एक्सपर्टीज़।
जब मैं
हुँ,
छोटा था, लाइक 8th 9th स्टैंडर्ड में हमारी साइंस की टीचर थी पहले, वो भी काफ़ी सुपरस्टिशियस चीज़ें बताती थी। साइंस की
हुँ।
टीचर थी वो, फिर भी काफ़ी अलग-अलग हिंदुइज़्म से उठा के वो काफ़ी हिंदू टीचर थी वो ऑफ
हुँ,
कोर्स,
हुँ,
तो
हुँ, हुँ,
काफ़ी हिंदुइज़्म से काफ़ी जो है अलग-अलग वो चीज़ें, ऐसे सुपरस्टिशियस चीज़ें बताती थी। तब मैं बिलीव कर लेता था, बट अभी लाइक आई एम वाचिंग यू, लाइक
हुँ। थैंक्स
इट्स
मैन।
लाइक 6 7 months
It's
and
good to know that this live stream serves some purpose. But thank you. Hussein, I will have to move on.
ओके, ओके। थैंक यू
It's
मैम,
okay? Yeah. Thank you.
थैंक यू मैम।
Thank you. Bye. So that was Hussein. Next is Ajay Kedar. Hi, Ajay.
Hi Vimoh, how are you?
What's up? Good. What's up?
I'm joining from after a long time your live
Okay.
stream. I was not able to join. So
Acha.
I have only one point.
Hmm.
Uh, I think you have watched Raghuram Rajan's interview with Rahul Gandhi, right?
No, I haven't. I know that he has given an interview, but I haven't watched it yet.
So I think there was lot many discussions on political thing, but one
Hmm.
thing it sticks to me at that point of time
Hmm.
while talking about economics, right?
Hmm.
I don't know what was the question Rahul Gandhi has asked, but
Hmm.
what Raghuram Rajan, and I'm paraphrasing, I may be wrong.
Hmm.
So he said we can't get away with capitalism. So my
Hmm.
question is, or I want your opinion on this.
Raghuram
Uh,
Rajan said this.
yeah, he said that we can't get away with capitalism,
Okay, it
and
seems like
I,
so first of all, A, I have not seen it. B, it
yeah,
sounds like it sounds kind of antithetical to what Raghuram Rajan usually says. Maybe this is half a sentence of something else.
correct, correct.
What
Yeah,
was
I
the whole
also
thing he said?
I also don't remember exact wording, but yeah, there
Okay.
was wording there that we can't get away with capitalism. Means
Hmm.
even we want to go towards socialism, we still
Hmm.
can't get away with capitalism. In that context, he
Did
was
you
talking
did you
about
mean did you mean get away with capitalism or get away from capitalism?
get away from capitalism.
From capitalism. Okay. Yeah. Then it
Correct,
then I agree. Then I agree. Yeah.
correct.
That is his
So,
position. Yeah.
do you think many of the economists have a soft corner for capitalism?
Yeah, sure. Economists are people and they have their biases. And many economists have grown up under systems of education that have always sung bhajans about capitalism. So,
Mhm.
Raghuram Rajan has always been a supporter of capitalism. And when you said get away with capitalism, it seemed like it had a different
Yeah,
meaning
correct.
because get away with or
Yeah,
get away from mein fark hota hai. But now that you have
correct.
clarified that he meant get away from capitalism, I think that is indeed something he might have said, although I have not seen the interview.
Correct. But it's kind of weird to me. Like, we can get away from capitalism. I don't know
Yeah.
why economists are
So
not able to see that.
there is a saying that says it is easier to imagine the end of the world than it is to imagine the end of capitalism, and that's because we live inside a capitalistic system to such a
Mm,
great extent that even our imaginations have been shaped by capitalism, and it takes
correct.
some effort to break out of it. And people who have
Mm,
held convictions for their entire life, maybe it is harder for them, although I would say that I'm not an economist and Raghuram Rajan definitely knows about economy more than I do. But
correct.
from whatever
Correct.
I think there is a lack of exposure to different ways of anti-capitalist thinking in popular culture.
Mm,
I don't want to make any comment about Mr. Raghuram Rajan. He has his views, and I don't understand him. I haven't seen this interview. I haven't even read much by him. I do understand that he's pro capitalism, But yeah, I think there should be more exposure to anti-capitalist literature.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I see this like in a lot of economists, elitists, right? They
Mm.
actually support capitalism, and I find it weird kind of thing. Like you are seeing disadvantages of capitalism in front of your
Mm.
eyes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How
So
can
there
you
are
not?
people, there are even people who see the disadvantages of capitalism and they still come to the conclusion that "Nee, it's a bad system, but it's all we have." Because
Hmm,
as I said, their imaginations have been shaped by a love for capitalism throughout their entire life. So even if they accept that there are problems, they try to find solutions which are still capitalist. Like there is talk of ethical capitalism or something.
correct.
So that all also happens. I hope that like you've heard of this person called Richard Wolff.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Yes,
Richard Wolff
I have not seen his content, but I have heard of him.
yeah, you should, you should, you should. He has an
Okay,
entire channel where has podcast every week. You should check out his work, and maybe that will clarify a lot of things because he understands the shit, and he has had exposure to the people like Raghuram Rajan his whole life. So maybe that
okay,
will help you understand this better.
okay, okay. Yeah, that was my point. Thanks,
Great.
Vimoh.
Thank you, Jay. And welcome back, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Ajay. Next is Vivi. But before Vivi, let me read a couple of comments. First of all, Milind, thank you for the 100 rupees super chat. Much appreciated, as always. Everyone learn from Milind and be like Milind and support the channel by clicking the join button below. Rajiv Rajaram is here. Hi, Rajiv. He says, you did a great thread about the conundrum with the term Hindu atheist. Can you expand on that? Oh, God. Dude, that video every week, it's one of the highest traffic drawing videos on my other channel. Every week some wise ass comes and completely misunderstands what I've said and leaves a two-line comment with five laughter emojis. So I'm thinking of making a longer response to all those things. However, is live stream I don't think like the I think you left this comment a little bit in the near past and that person has left. So maybe I'll talk about it some other time. Mm. Harsh says, Purvesh, hope you join on call. I'm starting to look into AI, and that is a pretty interesting question. Okay. Um, Sumana says, what do you think about David Deutsch? I don't even know who that is. Ashutosh says, Vimo, do you think millennials are reading a lot less than their parents or grandparents? क्या ऑडियो विजुअल फॉर्मेट बुक्स का ऑल्टरनेटिव बन सकता है? आई थिंक पॉडकास्ट बुक का ऑल्टरनेटिव बन सकते हैं क्योंकि उनमें यू हैव टू पे अटेंशन टू वन थिंग फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. But audio visual format, as long as it is in the present form of 60-second videos, is not going to be an alternative to books because the brain does not get time to absorb anything. The context changes constantly, and the algorithm only encourages us to click away from things by constantly throwing distractions at us. So book reading is an entirely like I was always a fan of reading books in depth, but I recently read this book called The Shallows by Nicholas Carr, and it has given me so much more to add to that argument that I'm thinking I'll make videos about this in order to encourage people, like long ass podcast episodes, books, audio books. Use and consume media that causes you to give attention for long periods of time, because that is an essential thing when it comes to building understanding. Your attention, your ability to focus is being fragmented by online audiovisual formats that are most common right now. And that's a dangerous thing for you individually and for culture also, because we are losing people who are able to have deep thoughts. Right. So let me take on VV. Mm, hold on. Kaushal asked, hey Vimo, did you go through the references I mailed you? Hi Kaushal. No, I have not. I will take a print out and read them because I have not actually spent a lot of time in front of the screen in this last week. I will read them. Uh, hi VV. What's up?
हाय विमो, कैसे हो आप?
ठीक हूँ, बताइए क्या चल रहा है?
सब ठीक चल रहा है। मुझे मेरे कुछ पॉलिटिकल क्वेश्चंस थे, इज इट ओके?
हाँ, श्योर
एक्चुअली
श्योर
आपका
श्योर श्योर.
रिलीजन का चैनल है तो
एवरीथिंग
पूछ लूं
एवरीथिंग
क्या?
इज पॉलिटिकल, रिलीजन पॉलिटिक्स सब चलता है, बताओ.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, ओके। मैंने आपके पुराने वीडियोस देखे थे, आपने कहा था कि आप राइट विंग सपोर्टर थे, बट अब आप नहीं हो। तो मुझे जानना है आपकी आइडियोलॉजी क्या है, पॉलिटिकल या ऐसी, अगर आप
अभी
बताएंगे तो।
अभी
अभी हाँ।
Politically, I think I am a socialist, and
Okay.
I'm also anti-fascist, which means that I resist the influence of religion on culture and politics. I think policy
Mm-hmm.
decisions should be made on the basis of who needs resources more, and not on the
Mm-hmm.
basis of what someone's religion or caste is, which is increasingly becoming the model under which we are functioning. The reason I left the right wing was because their policies increasingly, like, obviously I didn't think so at the time, but I will
Mm-hmm.
tell you what I think now. My point is that right wing politics is increasingly based on discrimination and removing people from resources and giving it to people in positions of power, and these positions of power can be either based on money or caste or religion.
ओके, तो मेरा एक काउंटर क्वेश्चन ये था, जो सेकंड क्वेश्चन है मेरा, इसके
हम्म
पहले जितने प्रीवियस गवर्नमेंट थे,
हम्म
ऐसा ऐसा डिबेट होता है, ठीक है,
हम्म
तो उसमें भी ऐसा कहते हैं कि तभी भी तो अपीजमेंट चल रहा ही था, तब मुस्लिम अपीजमेंट था, तब
हम्म
बाकी रिलीजियस अपीजमेंट भी थे, जैसा राजीव गांधी जी का राम
हम्म
मंदिर का वो ताला तुड़वाना,
और
शाहबानो जो भी है सब।
उनका ऑपोजिशन हुआ है। उनका
हम्म।
ऑपोजिशन हुआ था ना, जब वो अपीजमेंट या जो भी, अगर सपोज आई डोंट एग्री विथ यू दैट देयर वाज अपीजमेंट, बट इवन इफ देयर वाज,
हम्म।
पीपल स्पोक अप अगेंस्ट इट देन, राइट? देयर वर न्यूज़पेपर्स अबाउट इट, देयर वर प्रोटेस्ट्स अबाउट इट, देयर वर कोर्ट डिसीजंस अगेंस्ट गवर्नमेंट्स। इंदिरा गांधी ने इमरजेंसी डिक्लेयर किया, उनको निकाल दिया गया, चुनाव में वो हारी। हर सरकार ने गलत
हम्म।
डिसीजन लिए हैं और हर सरकार को उसका खामियाजा भुगतना पड़ा है। इस समय ये सरकार जो डिसीजंस ले रही है, उसको उसका खामियाजा भुगतना पड़ेगा, बस।
क्योंकि ये जो अभी की सरकार है, वो तो वो पुराने ही चीजों को एज एग्जाम्पल लेके कहती है ना, कि देखो उस टाइम अपीजमेंट हो रहे थे,
हम्म
तब तब कोई कुछ नहीं बोल रहा था, तब ठीक चल रहा था।
नहीं, तब लोग बोल रहे थे।
तब
तब लोग बोल रहे थे, लोग हमेशा से बोलते रहे हैं। लोग तब भी बोल रहे थे, लोग
हम्म।
अब भी बोलते हैं। बोलने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। मैंने खुद मनमोहन सिंह का मज़ाक उड़ाया, राहुल गांधी का मज़ाक उड़ाया, जब वो लोग पावर में थे। अब उनका मज़ाक
ओके।
उड़ाना पॉइंटलेस है, क्योंकि वो पावर में नहीं है। अभी जो पावर में है, उसका उसका उसके बारे में बात की जाएगी ना।
ओके, ये मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन है। आपके
हुँ,
मैंने बाकी पुराने वीडियोस देखे थे, उसमें आपने कहा था कि एनीथिंग बट नहीं सॉरी क्या था, मोदी छोड़ के कोई भी चलेगा,
हाँ।
ये था शायद आपका, राइट?
हुँ, हुँ,
तो
हुँ।
मुझे मुझे थोड़ा वो आपका जो स्टांस है, वो मुझे थोड़ा वियर्ड लगा,
क्यों?
और आपके एंड से आया तो उसका
क्यों?
रीजन ये था कि, हाँ मैं बता रहा हूँ, उसका रीजन ये था कि इंडिया इतना, इंडिया लार्जेस्ट क्या बिगेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी है, राइट?
हुँ,
तो इतने बड़े देश को चलाने के लिए इतने अलग कल्चरल डाइवर्सिटी, इतने रिसोर्सेस, इतने कास्ट रिलीजन, जो बहुत ही यूनिक है, ठीक है,
हुँ, हुँ।
तो उसको चलाने के लिए एनीथिंग बट मोदी नहीं चलेगा ना। मतलब कोई एक कॉम्पिटेंट बंदा चाहिए आपको,
डू यू
कोई एक
थिंक मोदी इज़
केपेबल
कॉम
बंदा चाहिए, उसको
डू
कोई
यू
भी
थिंक
एनीथिंग बट मोदी वाला
डू यू
नहीं चल
थिंक डू
पाएगा।
यू थिंक मोदी इज़ कॉम्पिटेंट?
नहीं, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, उनको अगर हटाना है तो एक कॉम्पिटेंट बंदा चाहिए ना, वो मेरा सवाल है।
लिसन,
एनीथिंग बट
एनीथिंग
मोदी का ऐसा
एनीथिंग मोदी
कोई भी थोड़ा ना चलेगा।
And no, that was a rhetorical statement, man. I obviously did not mean anyone, pick up anyone from the road and make him the prime
नहीं,
minister.
लेकिन
I'm saying हमारे पास
ये
जो ऑप्शंस
सर्कल।
हैं, सुन लो, हमारे पास जो ऑप्शंस हैं, पॉलिटिकल ऑप्शंस, उनमें से मोदी के अलावा मेरे को कोई भी चलेगा। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि कोई भी उठा
चाहे
लो।
चाहे वो कितना भी भ्रष्ट हो, चाहे उसको कुछ भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का कुछ भी नॉलेज ना हो, वो भी
अगर
चलेगा।
तुम्हारे घर में अगर तुम्हारे घर में एक चौकीदार रखा है और वो चौकीदार हर रोज तुम्हारे घर में आग लगाता है और चोरी करता है,
हम्म।
क्या तुम ये नहीं कहोगे कि इसके अलावा कोई भी चलेगा? या तुम देखोगे, नहीं
नहीं,
वो
मैं
मैं तो
कॉम्पिटेंट
भर
ढूंढूंगा, कॉम्पिटेंट नहीं नहीं, मैं दूसरा कॉम्पिटेंट
ऑब्वियसली
चौकीदार ढूंढूंगा।
मैं
हाँ।
तो ये नहीं कह रहा कि चुनाव छोड़ दो और किसी को भी उठा के प्रधानमंत्री बना लो। मैं बोलूँगा चुनाव हो और मोदी
हम्म।
के अलावा कोई भी अगर चुनाव जीतता है, आई विल बी ओके विथ हिम। श्योर, आई मे हैव सम प्रॉब्लम्स विथ देम एंड आई विल क्रिटिसाइज़ देयर पॉलिसीज़, बट आई एम रियली नॉट हैप्पी विथ दिस गाय। दैट्स व्हाट आई सेड।
नो, आई वुड हैव सेड मोदी नहीं तो कोई भी एक कॉम्पिटेंट बंदा, वैसा होगा ना।
उसका मतलब
कोई भी
वही था
नहीं तो
भाई,
उसका।
उसका मतलब
अच्छा
वही
ठीक
था।
है, अगर
हाँ।
मतलब वही था तो ठीक है, तो ठीक है, फिर नहीं।
तुम्हें क्या लगा उसका क्या मतलब था? तुम्हें लगा मैं सड़क के बीच में जाऊँगा, ए तू सफ़ेद कपड़ा इधर आ,
नहीं
तू आज
मतलब फिर
प्रधानमंत्री।
कोई भी जो पॉलिटिक्स में जो भी है, वो उसमें से कोई भी चलेगा, तो जब कोई
नहीं,
भी
मैं
चलेगा
बोल
तो
रहा हूँ ना,
उसमें बहुत ही लोग आते हैं।
मैं बोल रहा हूँ, इस समय मेरे पास जितने
हम्म।
भी अल्टरनेटिव हैं पॉलिटिक्स में, मुझे
हम्म।
उससे ज़्यादा खराब तो कोई नहीं दिख रहा है। मुझसे उससे उससे ज़्यादा खराब तो कोई भी नहीं दिख रहा है मुझे।
ओके ओके, ठीक है।
दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग। कूल?
ठीक है,
चलो,
थैंक यू। हाँ, वही
चलो।
क्वेश्चन। हाँ,
बाय-बाय।
थैंक यू।
दैट वाज़ वीवी अरे यार ये सवाल फिर से आ गया. Hey Vimo, can you suggest some good reads for the upcoming year? Attisham, I have a channel called Vimo Reads. You can find the link to it on the main page of this channel. It's a book vlog. Whatever I'm reading, I post a review of it. You can follow that channel, and whatever I'm reading, you can follow along. I avoid giving people ready-made book lists because I don't know who you are and what your preferences are. So I will share what I like, and if you like that, then you can follow along. Also उस channel के banner पे एक Amazon link है. If you click on it, you will find a list of books that I've collected, and you can choose one from there also. Next is Rajiv Kumar. Hi Rajiv Kumar.
Hi, Vimoh. How are you?
Good.
Big fan of yours, man. A quick question for you. Is
Sure.
there a possibility that we could have kind of a Reformation movement that we had in Europe back in the 15th, 16th, 17th century that kind of reformed Christianity to some degree? Because I feel like, I mean, of course, I'm saying the obvious that the current path we're on is not the optimal path. And how can we get along better? How could we meaning the religious divides, vanish? How could we make that reformation happen? What are the kind of like quick wins, low-hanging fruit that we could do to make that
I think
happen?
the lowest hanging fruit is putting all our weight behind the anti-caste movement, because that is the single greatest reformation movement India can have, because it is at the heart of so many different problems that we are facing right now, including the climate crisis. By the way, the climate crisis our understanding and our solutions to the climate crisis can benefit a lot from us respecting the way tribal communities have lived throughout, but we don't. A lot of policies that are in effect in India are wholesale lifted from Europe and chip out on India, and that may be one of the reasons that we are not doing so well. The caste system, however, is a homegrown virus, and
Right.
the moment we commit ourselves to wiping it out completely, we will make a very significant process in at least one good direction. And
Okay.
sure,
And
there
what
may
are
be other
the?
things
Sorry to
like
interrupt you. What are
uh,
the what tactically? What could we do tomorrow? Let's say about destroying this, dismantling the caste system. How could we do something really quick?
we could. It's not going to be quick, obviously. It's not going to be so quick that it can be like happening in a
Sure.
week or a month. But
Sure.
what we can do is support uh, you know Dalit, Bahujan, Adivasi communities in their quest for more political power, because that is exactly what has been absent from the equation. So wherever you see a person who is politically active and they belong to a backward community, put your weight behind them, acquaint yourself with their policies, their positions. If possible, get in touch with them and ask how you can help, and in whatever way they say you can help.
Well, isn't that going to lead to another kind of power asymmetry in that sense? Because many movements,
No,
like,
if
I
there
guess,
listen, if there's an asymmetry where this side is 90% and this side is 10%,
yeah,
and I say we need to increase this 10%, you automatically go into a mode of thinking where it says, what if this becomes 100%? That's a far away thing. Right now,
right,
we need
right,
to give more power to the 10%. The asymmetry, maybe it will happen, maybe it's even possible that we put all our energy into increasing this 10%, and all it gets to is 15%. That's still progress.
right, right.
Our culture is so steeped in casteism that despite putting all our energy into this problem, we will still maybe never get to the place where it is even 50-50. Right?
Okay, how
Forget
about?
about power asymmetry.
Okay,
That's a
okay,
very far away thing. Very far away thing.
okay. I guess I partly I'm where I'm coming from is also like I'm this is half baked knowledge, but take it for what it is. Is that I look at the Naxalite movement,
Hmm.
and the cursory knowledge I have about them is that they started because of the injustices of the government,
Hmm.
and that was kind of a movement that kind of took foothold because of that very reason, that ideology. So, I
Hmm.
mean, and then you see the media portrayed the Naxalites as terrorists, basically,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so, how do you avoid something like that? I guess
How do you avoid something like what exactly in terms of
where
caste? What are you
where
talking about?
you, I mean, we're talking about, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
I
let me
shouldn't
let
dwell
me
on
let
that.
me speculate a little bit, since as you said, it's kind of half baked. If you are talking about uh, the anti-caste movement becoming a violent movement,
Yeah,
do you think it will happen because we gave them more rights, or do you think it will happen because we did not give them more rights?
I think I'm talking like historically. There's a tendency to overreach.
No, I'm saying, I asked you a very simple question.
Okay.
Do you think a marginalized group
Uh
is
huh.
more likely to be violent if they are given rights or if they are not given rights?
No, I don't think I would frame it that way.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm asking, what do you
I,
think?
I I don't think the Naxalite example I was giving was just to show how things could kind of get out. I mean, it if it's not really an intellectual movement, I guess where I'm getting at is, could we also have an intellectual movement where this casteism is kind of dismantled in a very sort of grassroots way at
That
the,
already exists. That already exists.
okay,
There are Dalit writers and scholars and academics who are doing stellar work. And I don't know which part of the world you are in,
yeah,
but recently in America, a book called The Trauma of Caste was released by
okay,
a Dalit Bhujan writer. There are scholars, there are activists who are causing companies like Apple and Google to have anti-caste policies implemented in their company campuses. There are, there is a DBA politics happening in India. A lot of things are happening, and a
what is that
huge part
DBA
of it,
politics you said?
DBA is Dalit Bahujan Adivasi.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. So it's a combined umbrella term for it that covers most backward categories as far as caste and such practices are concerned. So these things are happening. A huge part of the anti-caste movement is academic and scholarly in nature. We just don't hear about it because our media. It's recently there was this survey about what percentage of media organization employees are from backward communities, and
hmm,
it was found that despite being actually existing in large numbers in India, their representation in media organization is very small. So the
right,
information that you have about what is happening and what is not happening is colored because it is coming through a media outlet which itself has an upper
a
caste way of
bias.
looking at things.
I
Yeah,
absolutely agree, and I think
yeah.
one of the and just to really quick say something about it is that one of the things I am trying to do is I'm based in the US, but I'm also like very active in many parts in India. Is to work with the guys in the disadvantaged communities and make their voices kind of heard to the rest of the world,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like you were
yeah.
saying in your like one of the points you made, I think in one of your Substack articles, was that the West gets its view from the Brahminical perspective. They have a
Yeah,
very kind of
yeah,
colored view,
yeah.
and it's upon us, like the rational thinking people, or the people who really care about the big picture,
Mm,
to propagate the right information, to blow the lid off of all of these lies.
mm. Yeah.
Okay, I'm agreeing with you. Thank you, Vimo. You're doing great work, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you. Thank you for joining. That was Rajiv. Then there is hold on. कहाँ गया? There was someone else waiting. They disappeared. Acha, never mind. Bloodless revolutionary in the making. Hi, welcome back.
हेलो सर। सर लास्ट टाइम हमने बात की थी, हमने
Hmm.
स्टार्ट किया कि हमें ऐसे नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि अपर कास्ट मार्जिनलाइज्ड कास्ट के मार्जिनलाइज्ड सेक्शन के लोगों के लिए काम नहीं कर सकते बेहतर तरीके से। देन यू सेड अ क्वेश्चन कि हु विल फाइट बेटर, द
Hmm.
मार्जिनलाइज्ड कास्ट पीपल और द अपर कास्ट।
Hmm.
तो सर इसमें एक तो मैंने जो स्टेटमेंट दिया
Hmm.
उसको हमें ऐसे देखना पड़ेगा कि जो कास्ट है और जो क्लास है, अगर
Hmm.
उसको हम 3 पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें, जिस पे आप हमेशा बात करते हैं, पॉलिटिक्स, सोशली, इकोनॉमिकली, तो ये दोनों चीज़ें हम अलग-अलग नहीं देख सकते। ये सारी चीज़ें आप एक साथ ही हम देख पाएँगे, और एक साथ ही अगर हमें किसी को कास्ट की वजह से अगर मार्जिनलाइज़ किया जा रहा है,
Hmm.
तो अगर हमें उनको अपलिफ्टमेंट करना है, पॉलिटिकली
Hmm.
एम्पावर करना है, या ये जो
Hmm.
3 मैंने पर्सपेक्टिव दिए, तो
Hmm.
हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा कि जो ज़मीनी मज़दूर हैं, ठीक
Hmm.
है? कि हमें उस पर्सपेक्टिव से देखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि ये तीनों तो चीज़ें आ गई हैं, ठीक है? और फिर जैसे कि कोई इस पे आपने कहा था कि कौन बेहतर लड़ेगा, मार्जिनलाइज़ या अपर कास्ट? तो इसमें अगर आप ऐसे कहेंगे कि आइडेंटिटी काफ़ी है, आपने ये ऐसे ही कुछ कहा था ना कि हम किसी आइडेंटिटी से कोई आ रहा है मार्जिनलाइज़ कास्ट से, उसको हम पॉलिटिकली एम्पावर करेंगे, तभी
हुँ,
तो चेंज आएगा।
हुँ।
और मैंने कहा था कि कुछ मैंने ऐसे बोला था तो आपने बोला आप स्पेक्युलेट क्यों कर रहे हो? ये तो कास्टिस्ट बिहेवियर है कि आप कह रहे हो उनको पावर दे देंगे तो वो भी काम नहीं करेंगे मार्जिनलाइज़ लोगों के
मैं
लिए।
ये कह रहा था कि
हाँ,
तुम खुद एक अपर कास्ट बैकग्राउंड से हो, है ना?
हुँ,
राइट? सो डिसाइड कौन करेगा कि मैंने एग्ज़ाम्पल उस टाइम भी दिया था, आई पुट यू इन अ पोज़ीशन ऑफ लेस पावर एंड आई ट्राइड टू स्पेकुलेट बिकॉज़ वो अच्छा एग्ज़ाम्पल रहता है सुनाने के लिए। अगर कोई अंग्रेज़ है और तुम एक फ्रीडम फाइटर हो और तुम कह रहे हो कि हमें आज़ादी चाहिए और अंग्रेज़ वही चीज़ कहेगा जो तुम अभी कह रहे हो कास्ट सिस्टम को लेके। अंग्रेज़ कहेगा मैं पावर दे तो दूँ पर हो सकता है तुम उस पावर को यूज़ नहीं कर पाओगे, मिसयूज़ करोगे या यू नो यू वोंट नो हाउ टू डू व्हाट इज़ गुड फॉर यू। डू यू थिंक द अंग्रेज़ इज़ जस्टिफाइड?
हुँ। तो मैं स्पेक्युलेट नहीं कर रहा था।
नहीं, नहीं इसका जवाब
एक्चुअली
दो ना, इसका जवाब दो ना।
हुँ, हाँ,
डू यू
बिल्कुल
थिंक
सही है। इसीलिए इसीलिए
क्या
जो
सही
ब
है?
ब
जवाब दो ना मैंने जो पूछा उसका।
कि हाँ, बिल्कुल ऑफ़ कोर्स वो नहीं मानेंगे और मैं भी यही
नहीं,
मानता
नहीं,
हूँ
मैं
जैसे
पूछ रहा हूँ
आपने
कि मैं कह रहा हूँ
हाँ,
कि अगर अंग्रेज़ कहेगा कि वो
हाँ।
पावर दे तो दे, पर हो सकता है तुम समझ नहीं पाओगे या मिसयूज़ कर लोगे, तो क्या अंग्रेज़
मैं
इसलिए कह
एग्ज़ैक्टली
रहा है
मैं
भाई मुझे
मैं
सवाल तो
ये
ढंग से
नहीं कह रहा।
पूछने दो, ब्लडलेस रिवॉल्यूशनरी सवाल सुन लो पूरा। अंग्रेज़ जब कहेगा कि हो सकता है तुम जो पावर वो तुमको दे, तुम उसका मिसयूज़ करोगे, तो वो ये क्यों कह रहा है? वो इसलिए कह रहा है क्योंकि वो तुम्हारा भला चाहता है या इसलिए कह रहा है कि वो अपनी पावर को मेंटेन करना चाहता है?
हाँ, वो अपनी पावर को मेंटेन करना चाहता है।
बस, तो मैंने वही पॉइंट आउट किया था कि जब तुम कहते हो एज़ एन अपर कास्ट पर्सन कि आइडेंटिटी इज़ नॉट इनफ वी आल्सो नीड टू लुक एट हू डिज़र्व्स और समथिंग ऐसा ही कुछ कहा था ना तुमने?
नहीं,
फिर क्या कहा
डिज़र्व्स
था?
नहीं। ये तो बिल्कुल ही मेरा आइडियोलॉजी के
तो क्या
खिलाफ हो
कहा था?
जाएगा।
क्या कहा था?
मैंने कहा
बिकॉज़
था कि
आई रिमेंबर यू सेइंग समथिंग अबाउट हाउ विल वी
कि
कम टू एनी कंक्लूजन अबाउट हू इज़ वर्चुअस?
नहीं, मैंने कहा था एग्ज़ैक्टली ये कहा था कि अगर हम ऐसे दे नहीं देंगे, पहली बात
हुँ,
तो ये है कि मैं स्पेक्युलेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ। ये हुआ है कि जब बहुजन अपराइज़िंग आया 90s में, तो जो फेलियर आया उसके
हुँ,
बावजूद जब पॉलिटिकल पावर बटी लोगों में, जो मार्जिनलाइज़्ड सेक्शन से आ रहे हैं,
हुँ।
उसके बावजूद जो अपलिफ्टमेंट होना चाहिए था मार्जिनलाइज़्ड लोगों का, वो इसलिए नहीं हुआ क्योंकि हमने आइडेंटिटी पे ज़्यादा ध्यान दिया।
देखो
क्योंकि
तुम
आइडेंटिटी थी
तुम अभी भी
नहीं,
उसी पर्सपेक्टिव से बात कर रहे हो जिसमें तुम देने वाले हो और
मैं
वो लेने वाले हैं।
वो वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि उनके पास है अभी, जैसे 3 भागों में बँटा, वो इसलिए
वो 3 भाग सुनो, वो 3 भाग मैंने
हाँ,
चुपचाप सुने क्योंकि आई वांटेड यू टू फिनिश योर क्वेश्चन बट मैंने
हुँ,
पहली बार भी कहा था कि द पॉलिटिकल एंड द सोशल आर नॉट डिफरेंट।
हाँ और
यू आर
अभी
ट्राइंग
जो
टू इक्वेट द 2 बट दे आर
हुँ,
नॉट डिफरेंट। दे आर द सेम थिंग। दे आर पार्ट
यस,
दे आर एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द सेम थिंग।
हाँ। पर जो अब मैं अपराइज़िंग की बात कर रहा हूँ, आपने मेरे को बोला ना कि अंग्रेज़ों का एग्ज़ाम्पल देके, तो
हुँ,
आप ऐसे मेरे को दिखा रहे हो जैसे कि मैं स्पेक्युलेट कर रहा हूँ। मैं स्पेक्युलेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ये हमारे पास एग्ज़ाम्पल है, ठीक है? कि
बताओ,
जब ये
बताओ कि बताओ
हाँ,
किस चीज़ का एग्ज़ाम्पल बताओ?
कि जब बहुजन अपराइज़िंग आया 90s में,
हुँ,
तो 3 भाग बँटे पॉलिटिकली। एक भाग बँटा जिसके जो लाल झंडा है जिनका मैं किसी का नाम नहीं लूँगा, एक लाल झंडा है, एक जो समाजवादी हैं
हुँ,
और तीसरा वो जो सबसे ज़्यादा ताकतवर है आज के समय,
हुँ।
ठीक है? जो कहते हैं कि कास्ट इनजस्टिस नहीं है, कास्ट को हार्मोनाइज़ करना चाहिए। वो आज सबसे ताकतवर हैं और वही
कौन लोग
कहीं न
किसकी
कहीं
बात कर रहे हो? कौन कहता है कास्ट को हार्मोनाइज़ करना चाहिए?
जो अभी ओबीसी पॉलिटिक्स जो बीजेपी की है,
राइट,
उसमें
अगेन तुम एक
हुँ,
ऐसे डिटेल लेवल पे जा रहे हो जिसके ऊपर मैं नहीं जाना चाहता। मैं बस ये कह रहा हूँ कि
तभी मैं नाम नहीं ले रहा था सर।
जब डिसीज़न लेने का टाइम आए ना, तुम नाम
हुँ,
इसलिए नहीं ले रहे थे क्योंकि तुम नाम लेना नहीं चाहते, तुम नाम इसलिए नहीं ले रहे थे क्योंकि तुम बिना बताए मुझे उसके अंदर धकेलना चाहते हो। और मेरा ये पोज़ीशन है कि तुम और मैं यहाँ बैठ के ये डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते कि दलित, बहुजन, आदिवासी कम्युनिटीज़ को कितने रिसोर्सेज़ मिलने चाहिए या नहीं मिलने चाहिए क्योंकि उनके दुखों का कारण ही हम हैं। ठीक वैसे ही
जी,
जैसे वो अंग्रेज़ उन भारतीय लोगों का उस हमारे एग्ज़ाम्पल में दुखों का कारण था। जब हमारे पास
हुँ,
पावर है तो हम नहीं डिसाइड कर सकते कि वो पावर किसको देनी है, किसको नहीं देनी है।
सर आप मेरे को, मैं आपसे 100% एग्री करता हूँ, ठीक है?
नहीं
ये जो
करते, तुम
आपने
बस
बोला
बोलते
है।
हो, तुम करते नहीं हो एग्री।
नहीं मैं सर करता सर आपको ठीक है, ठीक है। अ, ठीक है। मेरा देखिए, मेरा जो एंड पॉइंट मेरा क्या है, इससे आप थोड़ा मेरे को समझिए। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आइडेंटिटी ठीक है, पावर में उन्हीं को होना चाहिए, ये मैं मान रहा हूँ।
एक
लेकिन
सेकंड, एक
सिर्फ़
सेकंड, एक सेकंड, एक
ठीक
सेकंड।
है।
भाई यहाँ पे कमेंट में कोई तक्ष परमार है। तक्ष, तुम वही आर्गुमेंट रेज़ कर रहे हो जो हज़ारों बार रेज़ किया जा चुका है। ये एक कास्टिस्ट आर्गुमेंट है, इसको रेज़ मत करो। ये मत कहो कि रिज़र्वेशन शुड बी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल रीज़न्स। ये हज़ारों बार उठाया जा चुका है। इट्स अ बकवास आर्गुमेंट, डोंट रेज़ इट। इफ यू रेज़ इट अगेन, आई विल टाइम आउट यू। हाँ, गो ऑन।
उनको आपके प्रीवियस देखने चाहिए, उनको समझ आ जाएगा।
हाँ,
ठीक
तुम ये लाइव
है।
स्ट्रीम पहली बार देख रहे हो, पुराने वीडियो जाके देख लो।
आह,
इसके ऊपर बहुत कुश्ती हो चुकी है।
टाइम स्पेंड नहीं करना चाहते, ऐसे ही आ जाते हैं।
हाँ,
तो
बोलो।
सर मैं बोलना चाह रहा हूँ कि जैसे आइडेंटिटी है,
हुँ।
आइडेंटिटी के साथ आपको प्रो मार्जिनलाइज्ड आइडियोलॉजी भी चाहिए। और पावर उन्हीं को मिलना चाहिए जो आप व्यू दे रहे हैं। ठीक है, उसमें कोई गलती नहीं है। वो उनको मिलनी चाहिए और वो हम डिसाइड नहीं कर रहे हैं। वो खुद उसको रीगेन करेंगे पावर को। लेकिन
तो
उसके साथ-साथ
और
हाँ,
ये जो डिटर्मिनेशन है कि कौन मार्जिनलाइज्ड है, जिसको तुम रीच करोगे विदाउट टेकिंग आइडेंटिटी इनटू क्वेश्चन, हाउ विल यू रीच इट? फाइनेंशियली?
नेवर।
फिर?
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि
कैसे?
आप
बता ना।
यही 3 है ना, आपको एक साथ देखना पड़ेगा, अलग-अलग नहीं देखना पड़ेगा। पॉलिटिकली भी देखना पड़ेगा, सोशली और इकोनॉमिकली।
भाई तुम एक तरफ
इसका
कह रहे हो कि अलग-अलग नहीं देखना है, एक साथ देखना पड़ेगा, और साथ ही साथ तुम ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन भी कर रहे हो कि ये पॉलिटिकल है
क्योंकि
और ये सोशल है।
मैकेनिकली मैं कह रहा हूँ, सोशली क्लास और कास्ट को आप अलग-अलग नहीं देख सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये सारी चीज़ें
मैं कहाँ
हाँ,
देख रहा हूँ अलग-अलग से? मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि
हाँ।
क्लास और कास्ट बिल्कुल अलग-अलग है। आई अंडरस्टैंड देयर आर गोइंग टू बी, देयर इज़ गोइंग टू बी सम अमाउंट ऑफ ओवरलैप एंड देयर इज़ गोइंग टू बी इंटरसेक्शनैलिटी। मैं एक लार्जर प्रिंसिपल की बात कर रहा हूँ, जहाँ तुम आइडेंटिटी को पूरी तरह से निकाल फेंकना चाहते हो, जो कि आई डोंट थिंक
नहीं
इज़ प्रैक्टिकल।
अ, ठीक है, ठीक है। अ देखिए,
हाँ।
आइडेंटिटी तो आपको देखना ही पड़ेगा,
हुँ,
क्योंकि आपको एक स्पेसिफिक आइडेंटिटी के लोगों को ही, मार्जिनलाइज़्ड लोगों को ही अपलिफ्ट करना है, ठीक है?
हुँ,
ल लेकिन उसके साथ-साथ मैं ये भी कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि सिर्फ़ और सिर्फ़ आप आइडेंटिटी बेसिस पे अगर पॉलिटिकल पावर्स जो 3 बनी हैं, वो इसलिए फेलियर हुआ क्योंकि
हुँ।
वो आइडियोलॉजी मिसिंग थी, जो प्रो मार्जिनलाइज़्ड होगी। ये सिर्फ़ वही वैसे ही हाँ,
मुझे एक बात
हुँ,
बताओ, तुम जब कहते हो कि
हुँ।
सोशल, पॉलिटिकल और इकोनॉमिकल, मुझे ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है कि तुम्हारा आर्ग्यूमेंट प्राइमरीली इकोनॉमिकल है? क्योंकि जब भी मैं सोशल पॉलिटिकल की बात उठाने की कोशिश करता हूँ, तुम उसको कहते हो कि इट इज़ नॉट इनफ। सो व्हेन देयर आर 2 थिंग्स हियर, सोशियो पॉलिटिकल एंड इकोनॉमिकल, आई से सोशियो पॉलिटिकल, यू से इट इज़ नॉट इनफ, यू आर ऑब्वियसली टॉकिंग अबाउट इकोनॉमिकल, राइट?
नहीं, मैं उस पे नहीं कह रहा, मैं कह रहा हूँ आइडेंटिटी इज़ नॉट इनफ। मैं कह रहा हूँ आइडेंटिटी इज़ नॉट
और
इनफ,
सोशियो
आइडेंटिटी शुड
आइडेंटिटी
बी
इज़ सोशियो पॉलिटिकल, राइट? व्हाट एल्स इज़ आइडेंटिटी? इट्स ऑब्वियसली नॉट इकोनॉमिकल।
इकोनॉमिकली के लिए फिर आप मेरे को वैसे लेंस से
नहीं,
ना
वो
देखने
तुम
लगे।
ये यार, तुम पिछले हफ्ते वाला आर्ग्यूमेंट ही दे रहे हो, थोड़ा ज़्यादा सुधार के घुमा-फिरा के बोल रहे हो, पर ये पिछले हफ्ते वाला ही आर्ग्यूमेंट है
सर
और इसका मैं जवाब दे
इकोनॉमिकली
चुका हूँ पिछली बार।
इकोनॉमिकली सर अगर आप एग्जाम्पल देखेंगे, पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिकल, सोशल एक ही पर्सपेक्टिव में आपको देखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि देखिए अगर आपको लैंडलेस लेबर्स जैसे हैं, मान लीजिए,
हुँ, हुँ।
उनको वो टीनेंट्स हैं, वो
I
किसी बड़े
understand that.
हाँ,
Listen, I am not disagreeing with you that there are landed backward caste and that there are landless backward caste. There is power structures even there. मैं एक बड़े ब्रॉडर चीज़ की बात कर रहा हूँ। अगर तुम बात करना चाहते हो कि रिज़र्वेशन होना चाहिए, हमें लोगों को कास्ट बेस्ड रिज़र्वेशन देनी चाहिए, बट हमें उसके अंदर और भी ज़्यादा इंटरसेक्शनैलिटी के ऊपर ध्यान देना चाहिए, देन आई एम कंप्लीटली विथ यू। वेयर एम आई डिसएग्रीइंग विथ यू?
you are disagreeing with me where you said that I am speculating कि अगर हम उनको पावर दे देंगे तो वो
I was only
सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो
speculating
पाएंगे।
because of your position
हाँ,
on the power structure. ये
पर
डिटर्मिनेशंस होनी चाहिए, पर ये डिटर्मिनेशंस होने से पहले हमें कंसल्टेशन उनके साथ करना होगा जो इन कैटेगरीज़ में हैं। यू एंड आई कांट डू इट, सेम वे द अंग्रेज़ कांट डिसाइड फॉर फ्रीडम फाइटर्स। मैं स्पेकुलेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं ये स्पेकुलेट थोड़ी कर रहा हूँ कि तुम
नहीं,
अपर
आप
कास्ट हो,
कह रहे
तुम
हो कि
अपर कास्ट।
मैं स्पेकुलेट कर रहा हूँ, मैं स्पेकुलेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ। ये हुआ है, जब अपराइजिंग हुआ तो
अगेन
फेलियर
नहीं, नहीं,
हुआ
नहीं,
है।
नहीं, 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 नहीं,
हुँ,
तुम पास्ट और प्रेज़ेंट को घोल रहे हो। मैं तुम्हारे रियल वर्ल्ड स्टेटस के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ, वहाँ मैं स्पेकुलेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ। यू आर एन अपर कास्ट हिंदू, राइट?
यस सर।
Yes. So the Angrez who was making a very detailed case about sure हम कुछ लोगों को मतलब इन लोगों को फ्रीडम दे देंगे, पर फिर उनके बीच में जो झगड़े होंगे उनके बारे में हम क्या करें? मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि तुम्हारा काम नहीं है भाई, तू अपने मतलब इंग्लैंड वापस जा। जिनको पावर देगा वो आपस में डिसाइड कर लेंगे।
वो आपस में डिसाइड कर लेंगे, लेकिन ठीक है, कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे? कुछ तो उनको
अगेन
एक ग्राउंड
नन
पे
ऑफ योर
आना
बिज़नेस,
पड़ेगा ना।
नन ऑफ
जैसे
योर
कि आप
बिज़नेस।
देख लीजिए,
तुम्हें
देख
क्यों लगता है वो आपस
हुँ,
में डिसाइड नहीं कर पाएँगे? तुम्हें क्यों
क्योंकि
लगता है कि तुम ही
क्योंकि
डिसाइड कर
हमने
सकते हो?
क्यों मैं क्यों डिसाइड सर,
तुम
मेरा तो
मतलब
इसमें
अपर
कुछ
कास्ट
है ही
लोग,
नहीं ना।
तुम मतलब अपर कास्ट लोग।
अपर कास्ट, ये तो सर मैं कह ही नहीं रहा हूँ कि अपर कास्ट लोगों को ही उनको सुलझाना पड़ेगा। अपर कास्ट को तो अपना वो छोड़ना पड़ेगा जो वो पंडित बन गए हैं कि वो उसके प्रचारक रहेंगे ब्राह्मणिकलाइज वर्ल्ड के। उनको
हुँ,
तो छोड़ करके इधर आना पड़ेगा, पहली
हुँ,
बात, क्योंकि वो भी मरना नहीं चाहते उस पोजीशन पे।
हुँ।
उनको वो छोड़ के इधर आना पड़ेगा इसीलिए, क्योंकि वो उस जगह पे नहीं मरना चाहते, वो उधर आना चाहते हैं और वो साथ में काम करना चाहते हैं। और ये कोई ऐसा नहीं कि पावर सीजर करना चाह रहे, वो पावर लेना चाह रहे हैं। पहले तो उनको झेलना ही पड़ेगा, जैसे कि उनको अ, उनकी उन उनके साथ भी काफ़ी सारे खतरा उनको मोड़ लेना पड़ेगा कि वो पावर में नहीं है, जिनके लिए वो लड़ रहे हैं, वो खुद पावर में नहीं है। तो वो एक तरीके से अपनी पावर्स को छोड़ के ही इधर आ रहे हैं और वो साथ में मिल कर के एक आइडियोलॉजी तैयार करना चाह रहे हैं, सभी
किसकी
लोग।
बात कर रहे हो तुम?
किसकी बात?
तुम कह रहे हो कि
वो साथ
नहीं, नहीं,
लड़ेंगे।
तुम कह रहे हो नहीं सुनो, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि तुम एक कैटेगरी बना रहे हो कि जो कास्ट के खिलाफ लड़ेंगे और तुम उस कैटेगरी को डिफाइन कर रहे हो एज़ पीपल हू आर फ्रॉम अपर कास्ट्स?
No, everyone
देन
who is against casteism.
yeah, so my point is I would rather make it very clear that that category is composed of people who are from the castes which suffer, and any policy that is made must be done in keeping with their wishes, क्योंकि
Yes,
हमें आइडिया नहीं है।
मेरा भी वही है, उसको मैं आइडियोलॉजी
अच्छा,
कह रहा हूँ। जो आप
ब्लडलेस
पॉलिसीज़ कह
रेवोल्यूशनरी
रहे हो, वो आइडियोलॉजी है।
अपना आखिरी पॉइंट बताओ और 5 लोग हैं, मुझे आगे बढ़ना होगा।
ठीक है। मेरा यही था पॉइंट। और अ, एक सर
हुँ,
एक सर इस पे और भी एक पॉइंट था, मैं भूल रहा हूँ।
लिख लेना था
ठीक है,
बेटा।
ठीक
अगली बार
हाँ,
बात
ठीक है,
करते हैं, ठीक है?
अगली बारी बात
अगली
करते
बार
हैं।
बात करते हैं। चलो, बाय। दैट वाज़ ब्लडलेस रेवोल्यूशनरी एंड या कोई पूछ रहा है कि प्रीवियस वीडियो कहाँ देखूँ? चैनल के मेन पेज पे जाओ, प्लेलिस्ट्स पे क्लिक करो, एक प्लेलिस्ट मिलेगा कास्ट कन्वर्सेशंस, उसको देख लो। उसमें बहुत सारे क्लिप्स हैं जिन पे ये टॉपिक सारे बात एक बार हो चुका है। उनको देखो और अगली बार लाइव स्ट्रीम में आओ, मेरे से खुद बात कर लो। द नेक्स्ट पर्सन इज़ अंकित। हाय अंकित,
Hi, Vimoh. Can you hear me?
आई कैन हियर यू, गो ऑन।
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hi, Vimoh. I've just recently discovered your videos, and just my confession that you are the first YouTuber I'm talking to.
ओके,
So hi, and you're
हाय,
doing great work. And just a little bit confession that I'm still not subscribed to your channel
छी,
because you can say that I'm subscriber agnostic.
ओके,
This was the little joke I wanted to make. Okay, so
ओके।
my first question is, what I when I talk to my friends about the divide we see in the society today, दे
हुँ,
क्लियरली से कि भई ये रिलीजन के बेस पे है और इसको हम इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते हैं।
हुँ,
ठीक है? क्लियरली देयर इज़ अ डिवाइड व्हिच इज़ बेस्ड ऑन द रिलीजन। ये
हुँ,
तुम्हारा है, ये हमारा है।
हुँ,
बट दे से कि ये डिवाइड हमेशा था, बट अंडरबेली में था। इट वाज़ द इन द अंडरकरंट।
हुँ,
व्हाट द करंट रेजिम इज़ डूइंग कि इसको एक्सप्लॉइट अच्छा कर रही है बस।
हुँ।
तो डू यू थिंक कि अ मूवमेंट लाइक नॉन थियस्टिक मूवमेंट अब मैं नॉन
Hmm.
थियस्टिक जानबूझ के बोल रहा हूँ कि आई वांट टू इंक्लूड
I get it.
एनीथिंग
I
व्हिच इज
get it.
नॉट। हाँ,
Got it.
तो वो कभी लेट्स से अपने मुकम्मल हो पाएगी? विल इट एवर बी रीच दैट पॉइंट कि जहाँ पे उसको एक एक सब्सटेंशियल लोग उसको फॉलो कर सके? दिस इज माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन। और सेकंड क्वेश्चन, आई वांट टू नो एन ओपिनियन अबाउट वन थिंग। आपको लगता है कि इंडिया के अंदर अभी ऐसी लीडरशिप आएगी जो कि नॉन थियस्टिक वर्ल्ड से बिलोंग करती होगी? ये मेरे 2 क्वेश्चन हैं। इफ यू कुड जस्ट गिव योर
So
ओपिनियन
there.
या आंसर।
Yeah, thank you. The answer to your first question, I guess it would depend on what you mean by non-theistic. Do you mean a secular society where people follow different religions but don't let it get into policy? I think yes, that is possible. If the thing that you were talking about was a society where nobody actually believes or follows in religions, then I don't think that is going to happen, because again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'll be proved wrong, and I'll be very happy to be proved wrong, where religion becomes so small a matter in life that people don't even take it out in public. But I don't think that is going to happen in a country like India. However, I do think that a secular society where people are from different religions and they do disagree on some stuff, but it never becomes a matter of policy to discriminate because we are all equal under the Constitution of India, that is definitely possible. Your second question was about, do I think, what was it? Could you repeat it?
या सो माय सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज कि इंडिया के अंदर सी हमने कांग्रेस की लीडरशिप देखी है विच इज लिटिल बिट सेंटर टू द लेफ्ट, लेफ्ट टू द सेंटर है। आज
Hmm.
हम बीजेपी की लीडरशिप देखते हैं जो कि राइट ऑफ द सेंटर है। डू
Hmm.
यू एवर थिंक कि एक ऐसी लीडरशिप आएगी जो कि पॉलिटिकली तो एक पर्टिकुलर उस पे जो स्केल होता है उस पे अलाइंड हो, लेकिन रिलीजियसली एक नॉन थियस्टिक हो? अब वो एग्नोस्टिक एथियस्ट भी हो सकता है, वो एथियस्टिक भी हो सकता है, फ्रांस की तरह नेगेटिव सेक्युलरिज्म भी हो सकता है कि भई पब्लिक एरिया में आपको रिलीजन करना ही नहीं है, अपने घर पे रखो, या पॉजिटिव सेक्युलरिज्म भी हो सकता है, लेकिन एक्सट्रीम एंड वाला, कोई मार्जिन वाला नहीं।
क्वेश्चन क्या
नॉन
है?
थियस्टिक से, हाँ, यू आस्किंग नॉन थियस्टिक से मेरा मतलब क्या है? नॉन थियस्टिक व्हिच हैज़ नथिंग टू
नहीं
डू
नहीं,
विद
तुम्हारा
रिलीजन।
सेकंड क्वेश्चन क्या था?
हाँ, सेकंड क्वेश्चन वाज़ दिस कि डू यू एवर थिंक कि इंडिया के अंदर एक ऐसी लीडरशिप आ पाएगी पावर में,
हाँ हाँ, गॉट
पावर
इट
में,
गॉट इट, या
जो कि ओपनली नॉन थियस्टिक हो, जो कि
यू
बिल्कुल
नो व्हाट,
अपना
ऑडली,
प्रचार करते टाइम बोले कि भाई मैं भगवान में नहीं मानता, अगर मुझे
नहीं,
आपको वोट
I
देना है।
don't think that is going to happen. But we can have a kind of leadership which is agnostic, which is like, we don't care. If you're from this religion, we'll treat you the same way. If you're from that religion, we'll treat you the same way. Uh, I don't think an openly anti-theistic politician is going to have a future in India, and that is a sad thing. I wish they could, but I don't think they can.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट, आई लिटरली हैव ड्रीम्स अबाउट दिस कि भाई एक सरकार आएगी जो ओपनली बोलेगी कि भाई हम इस आपने जो
भाड़
रिलीजन
में गया
फॉलो
तुम्हारा
करना है
धर्म।
हाँ, भाड़ में तो नहीं। दे वोंट ओपनली डिस्क्रिमिनेट यू, दे विल नॉट ओपनली क्रिटिसाइज यू, लेकिन
हाँ,
वो अपने बारे में ओपनली बोलेंगे कि भाई हम
yeah.
इस चीज को नहीं मानते, हम पैसा नहीं लगाएंगे मंदिर मस्जिद गुरुद्वारा बनाने में,
Hmm.
हम
Hmm.
पैसा लगाएंगे हॉस्पिटल बनाने में, सड़कें
Yeah,
बनाने में,
yeah.
फ्लाईओवर बनाने में। हम
Hmm.
रिलीजियस रिलेटेड, अगर मान लीजिए एक कम्युनिटी, मान लीजिए मैं आई बिलोंग टू, आई एम अ पंजाबी, तो मैं अपना
Hmm.
एग्जांपल लूंगा।
Hmm.
वो सरकार ये बोलेगी कि भाई अगर आपने अपने लिए गुरुद्वारा बनाना है तो जिस एरिया
Hmm.
में आप लोग रहते हो वहां पे अपना पैसा अपने आप कलेक्ट करो और अपने आप जगह बनाओ।
Hmm.
आप लैंड खरीदो, आप वो खरीदो। मे बी आई एम विशफुल, ये एक विशफुल थिंकिंग है कि क्या पता ये सरकार हो, लेकिन जब आप कहते हैं कि आपको नहीं लगता, बिल्कुल नहीं लगता कि, और यू डोंट सी दैट डिस्टेंट फ्यूचर में आपको नहीं दिखता, लाइक
डिस्टेंट
आई
फ्यूचर
एम
में हो
आस्किंग इट।
सकता है। मैं डिस्टेंट फ्यूचर के बारे में ओपिनियन नहीं दे सकता, बिकॉज़ अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स
ओके,
कैन
ओके, ओके,
चेंज इन द डिस्टेंट फ्यूचर। अभी जैसे लाइक whenever we speculate about the future, the place we start from was, uh, if this goes on.
करेक्ट।
So अभी जो चल रहा है, if this goes on the same way, then I don't see it happening. However, I would also like to add that it is always possible for things to happen in a radically strange and different way than I can speculate. So maybe it can. Who knows?
ओके, दो दीज आर माय टू क्वेश्चंस, थैंक यू सो मच,
Thank you,
एंड
Ankit.
इट
Thank
वाज
you so
रियली लवली
much.
टॉक टू यू।
Thank you. It was nice speaking with you also.
थैंक यू।
That was Ankit. Before, sorry, burp. Before I get to the next person, let me read a couple of comments. Uh, mm, 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 mm. Actually, it's just conversations happening among people. But there is this one question by Ehtesham Bakht who says, "Hey Vimo, can you please explain the missing link between modern humans and apes? Has the link been found? If no, then isn't the evolution theory becomes more of just a theory than a fact?" Ehtesham, this question betrays your lack of understanding of how evolution works. कोई भी missing link is a myth created by creationists. There is no such thing as a missing link. Every species is a missing link between what it used to be and what it is going to be. तुम खुद एक मिसिंग लिंक हो। कभी आईने में देख लेना एंड सी दैट यू आर अ मिसिंग लिंक, क्योंकि हम जो पहले थे और हम जो किसी दिन होने वाले हैं, उसके बीच का जो हिस्सा है, उसके बीच का जो स्टेटस है, वो है जो हम अभी हैं। Evolution happens in really small incremental changes over generations. It happens over millions of years. There is no process where a monkey becomes a half man, half monkey, and then it becomes a human. ऐसे नहीं होता है. If I take a picture of you as a baby, and then I take a picture of you as an adult, and I ask you, इन दोनों के बीच का missing link कहाँ है? नहीं होगा ना, क्योंकि you became what you are through a lot of small changes that happened over a long period of time. Evolution works the same way. It happens over millions of years. It happens over generations. It happens when species reproduce and give rise to new generations. So missing link नहीं होता है वैसे. इवोल्यूशन के बारे में किताबें पढ़ो, समझो वो असल में होता कैसे है. इवोल्यूशन के बारे में नॉलेज पानी है तो इवोल्यूशन को जानने वाले साइंटिस्ट की किताबें पढ़ो. उन क्रिएशनिस्ट की किताबें मत पढ़ो जिनका काम ही है अपने धार्मिक उल्लू को सीधा करना. Next is Amber. Hi, Amber.
Hello, Vimo.
Hi. Are you Amber or Umber?
Amber, you can say.
Okay.
Yeah, not Amber.
मुझे लगा
Amber.
Amber Heard ने कॉल कर लिया.
नहीं. Okay, so it's second time we are speaking.
Okay.
First thing that I want to tell is there is this guy who was discussing about this interview of Raghuram Rajan, right?
Mhm.
With So I have seen some portions of that interview, and he indeed said that he is a capitalist, which
Yeah.
I was not surprised because I knew that he
Yeah.
was.
He said this
So
before also.
I said this before also, and so again it brings me to the back to the same point that we were discussing last time. So I don't think he is disagreeing with the current regiment economically.
Yeah.
There isn't much difference,
Hmm.
and this is was first point I want to say. And in fact, the kind of stand Rahul Gandhi is taking lately, I was expecting that he'll counter this whatever Rajan was saying, but he didn't. He just nodded to it.
Again, I have
So
not seen the interview, but
yeah,
that does not
you see it,
surprise
and
me.
you'll find it funny. Actually, you will see
Acha.
that.
Acha. Okay, I'll
Again,
check it out.
I'll check it out. You'll find that is one thing, and so the only difference between BJP and other is that they are not communal. So this is what I concluded from that interview. The only thing is difference is that he is
And
not.
Raghuram Rajan joining the Bharat Jodo Yatra is not a statement about capitalism or economics.
Yeah,
It's
it is
about
not.
he has
Uh,
actually, so despite being a capitalist, what he has pointed out is that even in theory, the idea of a free market doesn't work if you start discriminating between this shop and that shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Right.
so.
So that is
Yeah.
his position. He's a if he's a fundamentalist about free markets, then he will obviously come in and join Bharat Jodo Yatra, which is about unity and people coming together. It's not really a statement about any kind of economic system.
Actually, it is not because that's what I'm saying. It is not a statement about that. The only thing that disappointed me is that the type of thing that Rahul Gandhi is speaking lately, right? I think he would have had not like completely disagreed. At least he would have said that कि मैं इस बारे में ऐसा सोचता हूँ, क्योंकि उसने कुछ सोशलिस्ट स्टेटमेंट्स राहुल गांधी ने दी हैं रिसेंट टाइम्स में जो मैंने ऑब्जर्व किया है, बट वो इस इंटरव्यू में उसने उसके अगेंस्ट कुछ बोला नहीं. Because he was so this is one point. So the main conclusion is that the only difference between BJP and other parties who can come to power, there are some chances that they are not communal. Like economically, they are all are same.
They're
This is what
not
I was
communal in the way that the BJP is.
BJP is. That's
Yeah.
it. That is the only difference.
Yeah.
And casteism तो उन parties में भी बहुत बड़ा पड़ा है.
Definitely.
है because that's
I
you can
count
see.
the reason I said that is because I count casteism as part of communalism.
Yeah.
And of course, if someone's definition of communalism is simply Hindutva against Indian Muslims and Christians, then they're losing a huge part of the conversation, which has to do with caste. There's a YouTube channel called India Inc. If anyone has not seen it, watch it. It has excellent in-depth animated videos explaining this equation.
India. Okay, I'll
India
watch it. I
Inc.
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't came across this channel yet, so I'll watch it definitely. And my
Yes.
second point is something different. So, have you seen this movie Kantara?
No, not yet. I want to. Should I? Is it good?
Okay, actually, I watched it last night on
Okay.
Netflix in Hindi.
Don't spoil it, but just tell me if
No,
it's good or.
no, no. I liked the movie, but for me, it didn't met the that hype that it has created
Acha.
lately. So there are some
Okay.
problems with it. So maybe you watch it first, and next time you'll come, I'll
हाँ
join
ठीक
and
है
we'll
ठीक है.
discuss.
Last night
Because
I
there are
was actually
certain
watching.
aspects. Yeah.
हाँ, go on.
Because there are certain aspects of it which I find problematic. So,
Hmm.
but I won't discuss
Okay.
them now since you haven't
Okay.
watched
Okay.
it.
Cool. 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 I'll
So
watch it.
once you
I'll watch it.
watch it, and maybe in the next, I'll watch, but I'll in comment I'll ask whether you have seen it or not, and then we can discuss it
Cool.
maybe.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Because
Eh,
yeah,
sure.
that's it. That's it. That's from my
That's
side.
it. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amber.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
That was Amber. And I would just like to tell people that I saw Glass Onion last night. It's very good and you should all watch it. And also, before you watch it, watch Knives Out. It's not a sequel. You can watch this one first and that second. That's perfectly all right. But I'm really glad to be watching a movie which isn't a remake or some kind of adaptation of a comic book or not about people flying through walls. It's just a detective solving a crime, and it's very cool. It's very cool to be returning to just good, well told mystery stories. So, yeah, Glass Onion, great, watch it. Wow, so many people waiting. Next is Ganesh. Hi, Ganesh. 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 Hi, Ganesh. Okay, so I don't know why Ganesh is not speaking. So I'll remove Ganesh or wait for him to come back. The next person is IJ. Hi, IJ.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
You are, but it's very bad audio. Can you come closer to the phone?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible, but background में बहुत buzzing sound हो रहा है. But बोलिए, it's okay.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, sir. I recently started following you. So I had a question. I'm sorry someone asked the same question before. But my
Hmm.
question is, कि, like in an ideal society, what do you think religion should be allowed? Like ऐसे हम मना तो नहीं कर सकते ना कि फॉलो मत करो रिलीजन को,
Hmm.
बट एट द
Hmm.
सेम टाइम सम रिलीजन्स मतलब कुछ ना कुछ तो वो हेटफुल कहते ही हैं, चाहे कास्ट
Yeah.
सिस्टम हो गया या
Yeah.
होमोफोबिया हो गया या ट्रांसफोबिया हो गया। तो
Hmm.
लेट्स से अगर एक ऐसी सोसाइटी हो जहाँ पे रिलीजन का कोई इन्फ्लुएंस ना हो पॉलिटिक्स में, या फिर
Hmm.
पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज उसे एज अ टूल फॉर वोट बैंक यूज ना करें, तो
Hmm.
एंड लाइक पीपल आर सेइंग कि हम अपना रिलीजन टीच करना चाहते हैं, शुड दैट बी अलाउड? व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
Yeah, I think religion should be allowed because the ideal society that is speak. अजय मैं आपको म्यूट करता हूँ, जब मेरी बात खत्म हो जाएगी तो अनम्यूट कर दूंगा, ठीक है?
ओके ओके।
सो आपने एक आइडियल सोसाइटी की बात की. एक आइडियल सोसाइटी में आई थिंक द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग फॉर द आइडियल सोसाइटी वुड बी इंडिविजुअल फ्रीडम, राइट? So if that is the case, then we can't really tell people to not follow a religion. We can tell people to not do, like we have to not break the law, to not commit violence, to not spread hatred, to not discriminate, etc. But if someone is following their religion and they're not doing any of these things, then it's okay, I guess. Like people deserve to live their life they want to live. We can spread awareness about bad things in religion and we can expect people to pay attention to it. We are always going to have disagreements. Like you say, you point out something bad in the religion, and religious people get offended because they think that that is an attack on their way of life. And those conversations will have to be had and the disagreements will have to be solved on a case by case basis. There is no one size fits all solution that we can just apply to all of reality. But yeah, I don't think banning religion and preventing them from converting is a solution that will one day create an ideal society.
हाँ, इट्स लाइक इफ वी अलाउ देम, तो वो आइडियाज वो शायद खुद कुछ डिस्क्रिमिनेट ना कर पाए ओपनली, पर वो
Yeah.
आइडियाज आपस में रहेंगे ही रहेंगे। वो अपने बच्चों
Hmm.
को उस तरीके से सिखाएंगे कि उनसे दूर रहो, ये फॉलो मत करो।
बस बल्कि
और
ये
लाइक
भी हो सकता है, अगर हम किसी रिलीजन को बैन कर देना, वो घटने की जगह हो सकता है बढ़ना शुरू कर दे। जैसे कुछ स्टेट्स में इंडिया में अल्कोहल बैंड है, पर वहाँ अल्कोहल का ब्लैक मार्केट बहुत स्ट्रांग है। बैन करना असल में काम करता नहीं है।
So the better approach should be कि like we teach people on their own to be
या,
critical of your religion.
यस,
That is the better option.
या।
Okay, another question I had was you said कि religion should not have कि culture पे भी उसका कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. So what exactly do you mean by culture? कि politics तो समझ आता है, but like
व्हाट डिड आई से?
culture,
व्हाट आर यू रेफरिंग टू?
like अभी अभी आप किसी और से बात कर रहे थे कुछ देर पहले तो आपने कहा था कि religion should not have a role in politics and culture of a society. तो
No,
उस
no, I
sense
didn't say that. I think religion is going to. Culture is not something that can be moderated. बिकॉज़ अगर रिलीजन एग्ज़िस्ट करता है, तो वो कल्चर पे प्रभाव डालेगा ही। उसको अवॉइड नहीं किया जा सकता। मैं बस ये कह रहा था कि हमारा जो कल्चर का डेफ़िनेशन है, वो प्योरली रिलीजियस नहीं होना चाहिए। कल्चर में कॉमिक बुक्स, फैंटेसी नॉवेल्स, साइक्लिंग, कुकिंग ये सब आता है। हम जब कल्चर का डेफ़िनेशन नैरो कर देते हैं और कहते हैं कि सिर्फ़ धार्मिक चीज़ें ही कल्चर है या ऐसा कुछ, तो हम कल्चर का ही नाश कर रहे होते हैं। कल्चर को मॉडरेट नहीं किया जा सकता। अगर हमारे कल्चर में अ, यॉडलिंग या उडली-उडली वो वाले गाना गाना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बन जाता है, तो वो भी कल्चर का हिस्सा है। थिंग्स कैन बी कंप्लीटली मीनिंगलेस एंड स्टिल बी पार्ट ऑफ कल्चर। राइट नाउ 60 सेकंड वीडियोज़ आर पार्ट ऑफ कल्चर। मैं बस ये कह रहा था कि कल्चर का डेफिनेशन नैरो करके सिर्फ रिलीजन तक सीमित नहीं रखना चाहिए।
yeah. I was looking at it more as like let's say culture मतलब बड़ों के पैर छूना like उस टाइप से. Of course
नहीं,
there is
तो
nothing.
वो तो रिलीजियस हो गया ना, वो रिलीजियस हो गया। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि कल्चर इज़ अ मच बिगर थिंग।
Okay, okay.
हुँ।
Thank you
इज़
so
देयर
much.
एनीथिंग एल्स?
No, no.
नो। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कॉलिंग। थैंक यू IJ. That was IJ. The next person is Mahesh. Hi, Mahesh.
हेलो सर.
Hello. Please don't call me sir.
सो क्या बोलूं सर?
कुछ मत बोलो। नाम है यार, विमो मेरा नाम है, बोलना।
नहीं, आप थोड़ा मेरे से बहुत एज में बड़े हो.
कितना बड़ा हूँ मैं तेरे से?
क्या बोलूंगा मैं, 18-19 साल का हूँ.
हाँ, दैट्स ओके, विमो बोल सकते हो। इट्स ओके, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट।
हाँ, तो मेरा ये क्वेश्चन था सर. अरे यार, साइंस क्या क्वेश्चन पूछती है?
हुँ।
ये
क्या,
मेरा
क्या?
क्वेश्चन. साइंस क्या क्वेश्चन पूछती है?
साइंस क्या क्वेश्चन पूछती है?
हाँ.
ये एक थोड़ा अजीब सवाल है। साइंस
हाँ,
ऑब्ज़र्व
जैसे.
करती है रियलिटी को
हम्म.
और उसके बेसिस पे कंक्लूजन पे आती है। उन
हम्म.
कंक्लूजन्स को एक्सपेरिमेंट्स में बदलती है। एक दूसरे के साथ लोग शेयर करते हैं, एक्सपेरिमेंट्स को रन करते हैं और जब एक्सपेरिमेंट्स का रिजल्ट सेम आता है, तो
हम्म.
साइंस एक मॉडल बनाता है और उस मॉडल को रियलिटी का एक डिस्क्रिप्टर समझता है। साइंस
हम्म,
क्या क्वेश्चन पूछती है? आई डोंट नो व्हाट यू मीन बाय दैट।
तो मैं पूरा क्लियर करता हूँ. हुआ क्या कि मैंने अभी एक टॉपिक पढ़ा, टॉर्क करके.
हुँ,
तो अब मेरे दिमाग में सीधा ये क्वेश्चन है, व्हाई टॉर्क एग्जिस्ट.
हुँ।
लेकिन
व्हाई का
फिर
कोई जवाब नहीं है।
हाँ, व्हाई का कोई जवाब नहीं है.
उसका पता है,
इसलिए
ये जो हम लोग कई बार लैंग्वेज में फँस जाते हैं। हमको लगता है जस्ट बिकॉज़ अ क्वेश्चन कैन बी फॉर्म्ड, इट हैज़ अ
हम्म,
मीनिंग। जैसे एक वड़ा पाव का स्क्वायर रूट क्या होता है?
हाँ, हाँ.
राइट?
हम्म,
स्क्वायर रूट इज़ अ थिंग दैट कैन बी अप्लाइड टू नंबर्स, नॉट वड़ा पाव्स। बट ये क्वेश्चन तो बन गया। अब इसका
हम्म,
जवाब है, इसका मतलब थोड़ी ये है कि इसका जवाब मिलेगा। टॉर्क क्यों होता है का जवाब शायद कहीं है, पर
हम्म.
उस दैट विल प्रोबेबली स्टिल बी अ हाउ थिंग। टॉर्क कैसे होता है? ब्रह्मांड क्यों एग्जिस्ट करता है का कोई जवाब नहीं है। ब्रह्मांड एग्जिस्ट करता है, मुझे नहीं पता। इफ देयर वाज अ रीजन, इफ देयर इज अ रीजन, मे बी समडे आई विल फाइंड आउट। बट राइट नाउ द ओनली क्वेश्चंस दैट आर वर्थ आस्किंग इज ब्रह्मांड कैसे एग्जिस्टेंस में आया।
तो क्या हम ये कह सकते हैं कि अभी फिलहाल मेरे 2-3 महीनों में बोर्ड्स हैं, तो मुझे हाउ पे ज्यादा फोकस करना चाहिए,
वेल, इन योर
क्योंकि
पर्सनल लाइफ हाउ एंड व्हाई माइट हैव डिफरेंट मीनिंग्स, राइट? तुम बोर्ड पास करोगे, फिर तुम्हारे कुछ सपने होंगे जीवन में, उनको पूरा करने के लिए बोर्ड पास करना जरूरी है शायद।
नहीं, इतना नहीं है, क्योंकि सिर्फ बोर्ड ही पास करना है फिलहाल. दैट्स द ओनली. हम
ओके।
उसको गोल कह सकते हैं या नहीं ये भी पता नहीं, लेकिन फिलहाल वही है मतलब. एक बोर्ड पास करके थोड़ा सही
हम्म,
लगेगा।
अच्छा.
और मैं
No, by the
उस
way,
बात को किसी
best of luck for your exams.
नहीं, इतना भी जल्दी नहीं है, बाद में हो, लेकिन थैंक यू।
अच्छा, ठीक है. चलो,
ओके।
बाय बाय. That was अच्छा वो कुछ बोल रहा था, रुक गया. Anyway, next is चारवाक लोकायत. Hi.
Hi, Vimoh. After so many days, how are you doing?
Good, good. What's up?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, everything is going fine. So yeah, आज जो I think मैंने कुछ न्यूज़ पढ़ा था. Even tagged you in one of the news.
कहाँ पे?
जहाँ पे
कहाँ पे टैग किया?
एक कम्युनिटी पोस्ट लाइक मेरे चैनल का.
अच्छा, यूट्यूब पे? नहीं, मैंने नहीं देखा है.
Okay. So it was actually a news which I got like recently. Some college students are like sharing in a WhatsApp group that how do we commit genocide of minorities and how we convert them, rape them, blah blah blah, many things. There was news recently. Okay, this is from Delhi or
Where was
some
this news? किस
Delhi,
पब्लिकेशन में
Delhi.
छपा था? किस पब्लिकेशन में छपा था?
Okay, this is I think one is Sabrang India and the other one is I forgot the name, but it's an English channel. So
Okay.
there I got this news
I have
like
not seen
based
this.
on
So, Charwak, I have not seen this where you have tagged me. I'll take a look at it and we will talk about it later. Is that okay?
yeah. So no, my question is like if there are universities and students where you have this Hindutva organizations trying to
Hmm.
infiltrate and influence.
Hmm.
So what can we really expect of such a future? I mean, uh, if you 9 out of the 10 times the talk is not about your career, your job, but it's all about what the minorities do, what the Christians do, or what
Hmm.
we are supposed to do. I
Yeah.
mean, how is it really
It's a
going to?
process of discourse, right? Like, firstly, we don't know who posted that and with what intention. Secondly, secondly, maybe consider the possibility that the reason they posted it is because they wanted you to talk about it, right? That is
Okay.
also a possibility. And by making it a matter of discussion on a live stream or podcast, you're doing exactly what they wanted you to do.
Okay. So you negative publicity. And one more thing which I wanted to highlight is there is hardly any talk of climate change and all these things in India. I mean, uh, media doesn't discuss, but I wish if opposition parties do talk about this issue like climate change, AI, or something like genetic engineering, wouldn't that make a difference in the political discourse of India instead of all the communal things being fed?
या बट जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग के बेसिस पे कम्युनल पार्टीज चुनाव नहीं जीत सकती ना, सो दे डोंट लेट इट बी टॉक्ड अबाउट.
No, I'm just talking about the like the opposition parties, maybe Congress or something else. The opposition party, maybe they can
डू यू
raise
थिंक
this issue. Yeah.
व्हाट इज द इशू एग्जैक्टली? जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग ऑफ व्हाट?
Okay, so recently there is in genetic engineering there is something called as artificial embryos being built. In vitro fertilization can be done and genetic editing even before a child is born. So all those sort of things,
या
technology.
गॉट
So
इट.
given all these things, wouldn't it be fine that we really move our discourse to something like 21st century? These things like what we are discussing now, whether we can have secularism or not, atheism or not, theism, agnosticism, this kind of sounds like back in 1980s or 1970s at the best discourse. Of course, one can talk about this, but wouldn't it matter more
My
if
answer,
this is
my answer to that is that yes, it would be great if we could talk about those things, but we can't have those conversations just by ourselves. If you started it and I responded to you, it'll be a two-person conversation. We need to choose our topics based on what is widespread and what is relevant to the lives of many people. Sure, these things are very important to talk about and I think they should be talked about more. But हम लोग अकेले पूरा डिस्कोर्स तो बदल नहीं सकते ना. हमें उन्हीं चीज़ों के बारे में
Yeah.
बात करनी होगी जिसके बारे में सब बात कर रहे हैं।
Yeah, you just talked about culture, like we can have something like movies. So, in India, back in, I remember my school days, maybe around 2008, 2006, something like that. There is something called as bookworm culture. When you might have heard that school children used to teach, tease or make fun of some juniors or some group of students who were literally stuck with the book. Maybe they were reading book in the library or comics or any book.
वाज़ इट? मैंने ये कभी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया अपनी लाइफ में। आई डोंट नो व्हाट स्कूल्स वर लाइक इन 2008, 2009
बट
क्योंकि मैं
एटलीस्ट
कॉलेज से
जहां तक मैं लाइब्रेरी की बात कर रहा हूँ, जहां तक मैं मेरे टाइम का था, वेयर आई वाज मे बी इन द पर्टिकुलर स्कूल, ओके,
ओके।
आई एम नॉट सेइंग ऑल स्कूल, बट coming back today, I hardly see even anybody even mentioning the word called as bookworm. This has something become extinct.
Yeah, that's because books themselves
Even
are
though
very
we
close to extinction.
Yeah, even though we read e-book, maybe
हाँ।
Kindle or Google Play or whatever, but book is a book, whether you
Yeah.
make it into a PDF or whether you make it into your paperback format, book is a book ultimately. आप उसको online में पढ़ो या उसको physically पढ़ो. So this word, I think bookworm is, I think, a very important part if people focused on this itself.
Yeah, sure.
मतलब अगर लोग सोशल मीडिया भी अगर कम यूज कर दे, फेसबुक, एंड फोकस्ड मोर ऑन बुक रीडिंग as part of something day-to-day activity, that will come a long way in terms of what you are talking about religion and culture and blah blah blah. I'm not saying book
Yeah, so
reading should
that's
be
why
only
I started
certain
a
number of author. It can be any
that's
author.
why I started a book channel, right, where I talk about books.
Yeah. So that's what I would like to hope. Any good recommendations you have regarding any best authors? I mean,
On
maybe
what
I
topic?
don't know, but you
On
know.
what topic?
Okay, maybe on politics or maybe society in general.
Well, I told you I just started a book channel, right? It's called Vimoh Reads. If you go to it, I have one review of a book called The Shallows. Maybe you can start there. It's about how technology is removing our ability to focus, and about a whole lot of things that happens to the human brain as a result of social media
Yeah,
technology.
yeah.
So that's a good book.
Okay,
Maybe you can
okay,
start with.
thanks. Okay,
Great.
thanks, Vimo, for that suggestion. I'll check. But one last point. Uh, Today I was reading one book on economics. This is something to do with economics, actually. This is written by Richard Wolff. What I was reading was Capitalism's Cure. Okay, why capitalism
Capitalism cure.
tends to why it tends to lead to this kind of market crashes at intervals. Okay, so when I was reading, he suggested democracy at work.
Yeah.
We talk about democracy in society, but there is no democracy in corporation when it comes to decision making and so forth.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting idea. So
I have
you
I
could
have
also,
brought it up. I have brought that point up in this live stream in the past also. Richard Wolff's point is that we in public life, the people who have more power than us, people who manage our lives, are chosen by us and they're accountable to us. But when we go to
yeah,
office, our managers are not appointed by us and they're not answerable to us. They answer to people even more powerful than them. So he
yeah,
was talking
NDs.
about he was advocating a system where workplaces are
Yeah.
democratic, where managers are chosen by teams and not by higher ups.
Yeah, I think that can also go a long way in terms of the improving the situation economically, I would say.
Reducing the influence of
Yes.
capitalism. Yeah.
And I also posted about ideas like, okay, some of the
Hello?
influence of
Charvak,
capitalism.
Charvak,
Hello,
Charvak,
yeah,
I have 6 people waiting. I can't go on. Maybe you can come back next time
yeah, yeah,
and we can
sure.
talk. Cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure, sure. Next time I will continue the talk on this topic
Cool. Thank
because I
you.
am giving a read through. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Next is Simple Toad. Hi, Simple Toad.
Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, so my question is that what actually made you atheist? Because earlier when I followed religion, and suddenly there was a trend of becoming atheist. So everyone was like, yeah, even I'm an atheist, and without any proper reason. So, and even now, I personally believe that I don't have a specific reason to be atheist that
Okay.
much.
Are you an atheist?
Yes, now I'm an atheist because, yeah,
Why are
I've
you an
been
atheist?
watching. Because I don't think this universe was created. Actually, I have any answer for that,
Hmm.
and neither I get any convincing answer.
Right. So, what is your question? Your question is why I am an atheist?
Yeah, like, yeah, that's my question.
I'm an atheist because there is no evidence to suggest that God or gods exist.
Hmm.
That's why I lack belief in the concept, and therefore I'm an atheist.
Now, some people trap you in certain questions like what created you, and you say you were born from a mother's womb, and then who created her, and so on. The loop goes on till something comes
Yeah.
out like,
So,
yeah,
why is that question a trap? The most they can do is say that there must have been a first cause. You can
hmm,
then ask them, what makes you think that the first cause was God?
hmm. So yeah, they just try to fill the gaps that, yeah, these gaps
Yeah. So
are
that's
actually
bad reasoning, right? That's terrible reasoning.
exactly, yeah.
Most
I heard a
people who
few.
try to prove God by saying that something must have caused it, you
Hmm.
can say, sure, maybe something caused it, but how do you know that that something is what you describe as God in your religion?
Yeah, I actually heard a few scholars like Zakir Naik. I don't know how good he is, but
He's an
Zakir
idiot.
Naik. Yeah, actually, his reply was not at all convincing to me because he said he just asks an atheist a question in turn, uh, which
Yeah,
traps
those
him.
conversations happen inside Zakir Naik's imagination. The people who stand up in front of him and ask him questions are very probably paid actors. Very rarely does he meet someone who genuinely challenges him, and then he turns the topic into something else and he becomes abusive about it in his own way. He's not an honest interlocutor, he's not a scholar.
So then, what about evolution? Is it a fact of evolution or is it just a theory of evolution?
It's the fact of evolution.
Oh, so that's what you believe about it. And so my question, this
You
question
don't
might,
believe it? You don't believe evolution is fact?
no, I do believe evolution is a fact.
Okay.
That's why I just
Hmm.
stopped in between. Yeah. So my question is about a reservation.
Hmm.
So I'll give you my case study. I have a friend who
Hmm.
belongs to a lower caste. We've been
Hmm.
grown up in a similar neighborhood. Our parents are friends. I belong to an upper caste. He belongs to a lower
Hmm.
caste.
Hmm.
And I'm 17 years old right now, and even he's 17 years old,
Hmm.
and we had no differences even till the age of 14. I didn't know I was Rajput and he was some other caste. I never knew about these things. I just heard some of my elders in my house talking about
Hmm.
caste or something like that. So yeah, we were really unaware of the fact, and now I get to know that there is some special reservation for these people
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
they go for comparative exams or entrance
Hmm.
exam for government colleges.
Hmm.
So we growing up in a similar neighborhood, we going to the same school, going to the same tuition, getting the same environment to study. So and now he gets a reservation for that. So what's your answer to this? How
He doesn't
right?
get reservation because you went to the same schools and you grew up in the same mohalla. He
No, we
gets
got the same
reservation because
opportunity, right?
what? No, he
We got the
didn't.
same opportunity.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Because you have the privilege of not knowing your caste. He
Hmm.
gets reminded of his caste no matter where he goes. People will
I
refuse.
totally agree to that. Yeah,
Yeah. So his lived experience is very different from yours. And
because
it is because
we
of that,
never.
that lived experience prevents him from having access to many resources that you, like, for example, has anyone ever refused to give you water because you're a Rajput?
No, never.
Right? So that's an integral part of his life. And
Yeah,
you have
but
no idea what it is like to live like him because you don't even know what he lives like. And
Exactly.
that kind of discrimination creates hurdles in his path. There is discrimination in offices and schools and colleges. Have you ever spoken to your friend about the kind of discrimination he faces?
I just talked to him once or twice about, because as I said, we never talked about caste in our entire
Huh, so
life.
that's a
So
privilege, right? Upper caste
mhm,
people have the privilege of not having to talk about caste. There are other people like your friend who cannot
mhm.
escape it because they are reminded of it all the time. So maybe you should sit down with your friend and talk about it sometime, about what his life has been like. Don't talk about reservation, just talk about his lived experience as someone belonging to a so-called backward caste, and you may find out that his life has actually been very different from yours, despite you seemingly going to the same colleges and schools.
Yeah, he actually told me that. I asked him, like, you belong to a low caste and you're gonna get reservation. So he jokingly said, "Yeah, teri seat chhin lunga." So
That's
I,
probably an example of, that's probably just a result of you being close friends.
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
I was completely comfortable with that, and
Huh.
yeah, I never had any problem due to, even after knowing our caste, we were friends, we will be, and yeah, that's
That's
what
good.
went on, and that's how
That's
everyone
good.
should be, and the system should be. So my question is, when will this caste system be removed?
It will take time, boss. It will take time, and how soon it gets removed depends on how how proactively we do something about giving access and power to people like your friend.
And
Because
yeah, and by we
yeah,
you mean everyone, and I don't think at a point any time in this lifetime that's gonna come, because uh, everyone won't be having the same kind of opinion, or at least the people at the top won't be having the same kind of
that's true.
opinion.
That is why we have reservations. Reservation
Hmm.
exists because our society is extremely biased against people from your friend's background, and
Hmm.
because it is not possible to convince everyone to become, anti-caste. The government
Exactly.
and the system and the constitution has created provisions to make sure that despite this bias, they get access to resources.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm. And my question was that you just told you don't like Prime Minister Modi. So
Hmm.
I don't follow much politics, but I wanted to know why, because lately we've been seeing good contribution, as a neutral person, I would say. I've seen good contribution in fields of various, like we've seen demonetization, we've seen
You think
digital
demonetization was a good thing? Okay, he got disconnected. I don't know what happened. Maybe he said demonetization, so he got disconnected. If he comes back, we'll talk. The next person is Anil Kapoor. Anil
Hi,
Jagas. Hi,
hi,
Jagas.
Prakash, hi, hi. So I
क्या
was
चल रहा
waiting
है?
for a long time, and
ओके।
मैं तो लेट गया
हाँ,
था
आई नो,
तो
आई नो। मैं सबको बता दूँ कि प्राइवेट चैट में अनिल हैज़ लेफ्ट अ कमेंट सेज़, "हम इंतज़ार करेंगे तेरा कयामत तक।" सो ही हैज़ बीन वेटिंग फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम। गो ऑन।
yeah, yeah. So no, first of all, let me tell you that the conversations which are happening now, for the past 2, 3 episodes have been
हुँ,
really, some weird people come in, and the reservation and the casteism is kind of the most prevalent topics now. I think a lot of
नो
people
दीज़ आर नॉट
somehow
वियर्ड
try
पीपल,
to,
दीज़ आर एवरेज अपर कास्ट पीपल। दीज़ कन्वर्सेशंस हैपन ऑल द टाइम। इट्स
yeah.
जस्ट दैट अभी कुछ टाइम से इस चैनल पे हो रहा है, बट आई एम हैप्पी दैट इट्स हैपनिंग।
Yeah, so that's good. So I
हुँ,
didn't have a particular question, but it's kind of a rant which I wanted to say, and I've been waiting for this for a long time. So this
हुँ,
Gujarat elections, the recent
हुँ,
Gujarat
हुँ।
elections have been a turning point for me, personally, because I have been totally disillusioned with the phenomenon called as Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, and what has happened was, I was a follower of Aam Aadmi Party,
हुँ,
and earlier I was kind of a supporter of Congress. I used to vote for the Congress, but what happened, and that also exposes and kind of shows a mirror to a lot of, and I am sure there would be a lot of other people like me. So what happened in 2014 was that Congress got decimated, right?
हुँ,
And and there was no option, and a lot of corruption cases were there at that point of time. And supporting Congress itself became a pariah, right? Even
Yeah.
though at that time also Congress was the only secular party, right? I mean, the mainstream big secular party, big party which espoused at least lip service to secularism, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and and at that point of time, I had to ditch Congress because taking the side of the Congress was somehow very, very unpopular. So what happened as, I never liked the BJP and its politics. So I used to kind of have a cover ki yaar, I'm not a supporter of Congress. But Modi is like this, or BJP is like this, so that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that kind of that I feel very guilty about that, because at some point of time, because people are talking about development and Congress is corrupt and all.
Yeah.
So I couldn't stand my ground. And when Aam Aadmi Party came, which did not have any such sort of a baggage, I simply kind of jumped into the bandwagon,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I became an Aam supporter, because then in that case I can obviously proudly say that, yeah, I am an Aam Aadmi Party supporter, right? And he's talking about school, he's talking about these, but and in that enthusiasm, I actually ignored a lot of problematic things from the Aam Aadmi Party, and a lot of people like me also did that. And this Gujarat election was actually the needle on the, or you can say last straw on the camel's back. So he came into the election just because he wanted to make a dash, and and now there is a talk that all the 5 people of the Aam Aadmi Party are going to join the BJP. There's some talk going around. So it's that kind of
Okay.
a
In
thing that
Gujarat.
he actually,
In Gujarat.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
he destroyed the chances of the Congress, and the BJP won heavily, and the votes got divided. And ultimately, what I find now is that Rahul Gandhi is actually the only person who is actually having the guts to call the thing out. Okay, he could have actually gone on a pro development agenda, or he could have taken up a safe issues while going on this yatra. But he has taken Bharat Jodo Yatra, which is kind of something which is which is a he's talking about bringing people together, and that's the first thing. He's not talking about the corruption in the BJP or anything or the other. He's talking about exactly the thing. And second thing, if you see, he's the only person who has the guts to call out people like Savarkar, right? So
RSS.
and a large, yeah, RSS, and openly take their names, right? And because of him, a mainstream political party and a big leader doing that, that is the reason why Savarkar is, as people are able to actually speak about Savarkar, that he wrote a mercy petition to the British and he never contributed
Yeah.
to the freedom
No,
struggle, so on
actually,
and so forth,
see, here's the thing.
right?
Like until a couple of years ago, there used to be conversations about Savarkar, right wing, etc. But it was largely happening in the young feminist LGBT, pro LGBTQ, anti caste community on social media, particularly Instagram. It wasn't happening as much on YouTube. Rahul Gandhi has tremendous amount of influence despite being made a joke out of. He brought the Savarkar point into popular conversation, and I think he did a good thing. And as you
Yeah,
mentioned,
and the
he has been the only politician who has significantly spoken up against, like openly spoken up against the RSS, etc. And he has never changed his position on it. I have seen other people speak against these things, and they change their positions also. With the possibly
yeah,
like even Mamta Banerjee at one point of time, yeah, RSS इतना बुरा नहीं है, बोला था बीच में. And Aam Aadmi
yeah,
Party, तो my biggest problem with Aam Aadmi Party is that it seems like a bin pe ka lota. They will do whatever they have to do in order to get
yeah,
their foot in the door.
and yeah, and the problem, of speaking about Savarkar, or not speaking about Savarkar, is that usually what happens is, such people, if you don't criticize them, the right wing people actually kind of bring into a zone of
You,
acceptability and then make
yeah,
them
yeah,
heroes. But if
yes,
you constantly keep saying, or a mainstream person itself constantly on in the mic keep saying that Savarkar was a zero, or some those kind of things, people get the courage ki हाँ यार हो सकता है that is I can also
dude, we
speak
are
if he
talking
is
about
speaking, why not
Savarkar. You're talking about Savarkar. We have Nathuram Godse fans in the parliament.
I? Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
another level of crap, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that is simply, and that is the reason why now I have decided that I have to go back, and I will vote for the Congress this time. Is what I is
Mm.
what I sincerely feel, and
Vote for the
I think
Congress
he
where?
is.
Where will you vote?
Yeah, I mean whatever,
Acha, okay.
wherever
You'll
the
support the
next
Congress, you're saying.
opportunity
Yeah.
arises.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll support the Congress, and I'll not shy away from saying that Rahul Gandhi is right,
I think it's
even though
I
it
think
fetches.
2024
e-
I think 2024 is still a little far away. We are in 2022 still. It's not even 2023. So when the election comes closer, make up your mind then. But I don't think there's anything wrong
Yeah,
with supporting the Congress.
yeah, and no, I mean not about voting per se, but whenever I speak to people, I will actually take away that thing that it will fetch me a kind of scorn or whatever. अरे क्या यार तू राहुल गांधी का सपोर्टर है क्या, तो मैं पप्पू को पीएम बना देंगे.
या
I will
या
go ahead
मैंने
and I will
एक्चुअली
kind of break that.
मैंने बहुत टाइम पहले लगभग कुछ महीनों पहले मैंने एक आर्टिकल लिखा था. उसका टाइटल था देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग विद सपोर्टिंग राहुल गांधी. क्योंकि हम लोग एक टाइम देख रहे थे जब कुछ लोग बीजेपी से दूर हट रहे थे, बट दे वर स्टिल सेइंग थिंग्स लाइक ओपनली नहीं कहेंगे that Rahul Gandhi said something
Mm.
good. They will say, I'm not a Congress supporter, but Rahul Gandhi is actually making
Yeah,
sense. And I was like, you don't have to say that first half of the sentence. Just say Rahul Gandhi
yeah,
is making sense. You don't have to say I'm not a Congress supporter, but. And I am personally waiting
yeah,
for the day when people start saying, I'm not a BJP supporter, but Narendra Modi is a good guy.
yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
want to
That
say that, and
that
I'm now
that
decided that I will.
hesitation
Yeah,
always happens when we are talking about something good, when those people are brazenly supporting really bad things. They don't say, I'm not a BJP
yeah,
supporter, but this riot is, uh, or something or the other, their policy, etc. I agree with. They brazenly say, हम we are full, will give full support no matter what they do. But हमारे टाइम पे
yeah.
हमको बहुत हम्बलनेस दिखाना पड़ेगा. नहीं, हमको हम्बलनेस दिखाने की जरूरत
Ah,
नहीं. अगर सपोर्ट करना है तो खुल के सपोर्ट
yes.
करो.
Exactly, exactly. ठीक है,
या
Vimo, and
चलो.
all the best. Thank you.
Yep.
Chalo,
Thank you, Anil. Bye
bye.
bye. Thank you for joining. That was Anil Kapoor. So here's the thing. Simple Toad has come back, and there is someone called Finding Nemo, but the devices are not connected. I can't talk to you guys anymore. I only have time for two more people, and that's Soren and Mahesh. I will talk to them and end today's live stream. You guys can come back next time, and we will talk then. So Finding Nemo is gone. Simple Toad is gone. Oh, Krishna Sharma, thank you for the 40 rupees super chat. Dab going to 4 an and helping India improve any. What are you asking? Dab going to Foran and helping it. What is Foran? I don't know what you're saying. Can you just repeat it? Finding Nemo, please don't join. I can't take you on. I don't have time. I will only talk to the people, two people who are. अभी और कोई join मत करो. मैंने link भी हटा दिया है. Hi Soren.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, last time we met, we were talking about the intellectual dark web and all.
Yes.
So I think the conversation I was actually revisiting the conversation like
Okay.
2 days back, and
Huh.
the final point that came about was like the Sam Harris saying Hugo debate,
Hmm.
in which he said that okay, you criticize Islam or some certain religion, but the
Hmm.
effect that it has on society is very detrimental.
Hmm.
So like because I personally am a very big Sam Harris fan. I like this hardly anything I
Hmm.
disagree with him on.
Hmm.
And the way he talks, I think that's the most polite way to talk to a religious person compared to
Okay.
the whole four
Hmm.
horsemen atheism thing.
Hmm.
What do you think he can improve? This is my first question. What do you think he can improve
He can become
while
more
criticizing?
responsible. I think he can become more responsible. When he says something, he can't simply say that मैं तो बस सच बोल रहा हूँ, because
Hmm.
that seems to not work enough in this media ecosystem that we live in, where someone can say something perfectly okay, but if they are not careful, they are literally feeding people who are waiting on the sidelines to use it to dehumanize an entire community. So when Sam Harris says that Islam is a fundamentally bad religion, I'm not really concerned about the truth of it. I'm more concerned about the impact of it on the lives of people who are actually alive on the ground. Because Sam Harris, at the end of the day, is a white man living in the West. He has privileges and he's not going to get attacked beyond a point. He has protections.
I'm not saying that. Oh, sorry, you were saying.
No, I'm done.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I think we have fleshed this out completely, but like I want like a particular example where he said something and you would have framed it like a bit different. Because I personally see that I saw again his debate, thank you,
Mhm. Mhm.
and some like again his comments on Islam and whatnot. But I think it's like exactly the same intensity with which he talks about Christianity, and I
Are
think.
you? Can I ask you this?
Mhm.
The way someone talks, is that the primary reason you like them, or does it also have to do with how much good their work is doing? Because
Personally,
so far what you have told me, you love the way he speaks. Now for the second time you're mentioning how calmly he speaks. Do you think it is not possible to do bad things or enable bad behavior if you speak calmly?
not at all, not at all. But
Yeah.
like, if you can quote me a statement of his, let's say, where he's saying, okay, Islam is a bad statement because this and this reason, and you will
I
say,
I'm not like, I don't have anything off the top of my head. I can't quote people, but I what I was referring to was that he has said that some ideas are worse ideas than others, and
exactly,
that Christianity has done less harm to the world
yes,
than Islam is doing right now.
perfect,
Right. So imagine this then. There are Christian fundamentalists in America. Part of it is spread out into the manosphere, a part of it is spread out into white supremacists or the Ku Klux
I
Klan,
agree with that.
who are looking to hunt Muslims.
I agree
Now
with that.
Sam Harris comes along and says something like this, and then his words are taken and used as justification to
How would
brainwash
you
young white
rephrase the
men.
statement, if I may ask?
How would I rephrase the statement?
Let's say
I
you
would
believe in
rephrase it.
something like that, and yeah,
Okay,
rephrase
yeah.
this.
So I would rephrase it by saying that uh, I think that every religion contains the seed of bad behavior.
100%.
Christianity has done terrible things and continues to do terrible things
Yeah,
in a
agreed,
smaller capacity right now.
agreed.
Islam is also undergoing the same. I do not think there is any need to create a rating system of which religion is bad and which is worse. I don't understand its practical utility.
I think one of the practical utilities is, I don't know if you've seen, but Jordan Peterson and Matt Dillahunty debate, in which
Yeah.
whenever Peterson espouses Christianity, right? So whenever he espouses Christianity, one of the other atheists always give an example like it's a bullshit claim because you're taking it like making an outlandish interpretation of a simple thing, and that can be done the same in Christianity and other religions as well. And then they quote like some obvious Islamic verses which are like downright considered downright bad.
Who quotes these?
I think Sam Harris or Matt Dillahunty. I don't remember who out of
Wait,
them.
the debate was between Jordan Peterson and Matt Dillahunty, right?
There's both debate. I don't think the person matters because I remember
No,
what
I think the
they
person
said.
matters because Matt Dillahunty is extremely woke. Except for veganism, his position on all these matters is quite sane. He is pro LGBTQ, he's pro trans rights, he's pro women choosing what to do with their bodies. On all of these issues, Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson are kind of a mixed bag. So if you are going to listen to one of these three people, I would recommend that you listen to Matt Dillahunty. It does matter who says these things because I am looking at their record. If Jordan Peterson, after being an extreme transphobe, right now says something right about Hinduism,
We've talked about this, the Richard
yeah, I'm
Wagner
still not going to
example.
quote it. Yeah, because listen, I
Uh,
don't really care what opinion you have someone about someone if all you're doing is thinking about them in the privacy of your home. But we live in an age where we are tweeting out everything, and the
mm,
things that we say in public do have an impact on the ground level. So if
mhm.
Jordan Peterson, despite being a vile person, right now criticizes Hindutva, I will still not quote him because I know by doing so, I am giving him legitimacy among
Yeah,
the
we
people who
have
follow
gone
me.
over this. We disagree on
Yes.
this when I gave the example of Richard Wagner, and I'll still listen to his
No, I
views.
think it boils down to personal responsibility. I
I,
think that I'm responsible. I have a responsibility towards the people who follow me to bring them the best people, the best arguments. And Jordan Peterson is a dishonest person, and therefore, even if he agrees with me on one matter, I will not legitimize him by giving him more publicity.
I don't consider him as a
Not that he
person.
depends on me. I have my like 3,000 subscribers, but yeah.
No, I don't consider him as a dishonest person, but more as like someone who's, I don't want to use the word bad or evil, but I cannot think of anything like someone who like
You wouldn't call him
borders,
dishonest, but you would call him evil.
like bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but like he's not dishonest.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
he
I'm
believes.
also being slightly charitable when I say dishonest. I would also say bad. Yeah, I agree with you on this.
But he has certain good ideas. I would say that, but you still haven't given me the main answer. Like, let's say Sam Harris is saying something calmly,
Hmm.
and what he believes is true about
Hmm.
Islam, and
Hmm.
I personally, I'm not able to frame it in any other way, where he is able to communicate his sentiment, the motive behind it. When I was
I
talking
just
about the
told you, right? I just told you, you can add a caveat. When you're saying a certain thing that you think is true, but there is also a significant amount of scope of it being used by certain other people for bad reasons, you have to anticipate that usage and you have to add a caveat saying the Ku Klux Klan is terrible and I disown them on every possible level. I
yes,
have a criticism of Islam, however, that I make with a full understanding that it might be misused to hurt Muslim people on the ground who are genuinely at the receiving end of oppression and violence. But I think this is an area that needs to be paid attention to. Sam Harris takes objectivity to a level where he's practically tone deaf and insensitive. Does that make sense?
uh, I still
No,
okay.
no. As in, does that make sense as far as
It
clarifying
makes
my
sense
position
personally,
is
but
concerned?
I think just because let's say let's say Scientology, I think it's the worst kind of cult going on right now, and people who maybe follow Scientology may be facing a lot of discrimination, and I think rightly so, because it's like the stories they promote are like complete bullshit. But I think we should criticize Scientology to the extent, like a religion, how
I do
big it
not
is.
think okay, so you'll have to inform me about this. Are people who follow Scientology being persecuted as in they're being murdered and dehumanized?
I would say murdered, I don't know, but like
Hmm.
I'm in Canada right now, so whenever a Scientology person can never even say he's a Scientologist or something, because he'll be
Okay.
just
Because
banished. Like I don't know if you've
what will
read,
happen to them if they do say it?
like something like completely, like no one will talk to them. I won't talk to them personally.
Yeah. There are two things here. One, murder and dehumanization. The other, nobody talks to you. Do you put them on the same pedestal? Do you put them on the
Not
same
really,
platform?
but I would say if Scientology was as big as Islam, they would be murdered.
That's a hypothetical, right? I'm talking about actual ground level repercussions.
No, no, no. I think you're misrepresenting the issue. So let's say murder upon the total amount of population a person, a religion has a following of. So Christianity, even because it's so large, still people would be being murdered. Even though I
Soren,
won't.
I'm not talking about hypotheticals. You're again being very much like Sam Harris, and this is exactly the kind of tone deafness that I was talking about. You cannot make this hypothetical.
I'm not making a hypothetical. Let me complete the point, please.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, whenever there's a big population, a religion has a following of, let's say Christianity. So it's so big that the murders will be automatically happening in that religion just because of the sheer nature of how big it is. So even in India,
If there is demonstrable evidence of the violence happening because of a community being marginalized in a certain context, then it's not that same thing. You are seeing it as there are many, many, many more Muslims than there are Scientologists. So if
yes,
there is a murder of one Scientology following person, then that's the equivalent of the murder of 1,000 Muslims. I do not think that is a good claim to make
let's
because
have Christian.
you are turning it into a statistics game, and that I think is dehumanizing in its own way.
I'll just, let's say there are 300 Christians being murdered. I don't know the statistics. I'm making it up right now. 300
Hmm.
Christians are murdered in America right now. 100 Muslims, because even though the
Were they
population is less,
murdered? Were they murdered because they were
yeah, all
Christian?
were like religious violences. 300,
Okay.
100, and Scientology is 3 because the population is very low.
Hmm.
I would say that considering the population, Scientology is being the most persecuted. Like
No, it is not,
India Muslims in
because
Pakistan.
there is also the like I did mention dehumanization, right?
Hmm.
Is there a massive media campaign against Scientology where people are being called less than human because they're Scientologists?
I would say much more than Islam.
No, there
I
isn't.
have a lot of Muslim friends, personally, who I completely disagree with.
Irrelevant. This
I
is
wouldn't.
such a common thing. Like every time someone
Let
brings
me
it up, I have
complete
so
the
many
point,
Muslim
please.
friends. It's not an argument.
Let me complete. So, which I completely disagree with, but because even though beliefs are outlandish. Same with Christianity, but something like Scientology is where my breaking point comes, where I think that the reason is so far ahead that I cannot like reach them.
What?
Like personally, because of the widespread nature of Christianity and Islam and the other bullshit religions,
Mhm.
uh, I'm still able to talk to them because like there's so many, so I'm able to
Mhm.
have a discourse with them. Okay, why do you believe that? Why do you believe this? But with Scientology, it's so outlandish, so bizarre that it's not even. I personally cannot even reason with,
Soren, why is our conversation about a distinction between Scientologists and Islam dependent on your ability to have a conversation with them?
because
I'm talking about prevalent cultural biases against people and them manifesting as actual ground level violence against people who have done no wrong except belong to a particular religion, which is not wrong in any case. You are turning this into a very theoretical exercise. I blame Sam Harris for it, but I don't know what else I can add to this.
do you understand my point saying that the 300 example?
I do, and I think that is dehumanizing in its own way. I'm talking about it's not about statistics, it's about prevalent cultural attitudes towards people from a certain community and how much violence that attitude is translating into. I do not think Scientology and Islam are on the same plank. I have never heard of a Scientologist being lynched in the street because he was a Scientologist.
I'm personally talking about the US. I haven't seen like really
Have you
heard.
seen in the US Scientologists being lynched in the middle of the street because they were Scientologists?
I've seen them banished in my university itself. I've not seen them lynched.
Irrelevant. I'm talking about something else.
That's
Being
very like
banished from a university or people not talking to someone is not on the same level as being killed.
I've not seen like out of the I don't know 300 million people in the US. I've not seen like maybe one or two get lynched, which is a normal statistic. Uh,
Soren, this is like pissing me off to a level that you will not believe. You're turning this into a statistical game
but then it's a
when
bullshit.
there
Oh,
is
sorry,
what?
continue.
What?
But then it's a bullshit debate because it's you are presenting a subjective opinion which I can never counter, and I am presenting a statistic which happens in a debate. We both present objective.
It's not statistical. It's statistical because you are comparing a group which is in very small numbers to a group which is in very large numbers and also a marginalized community in multiple countries where there is violence against them. I am not saying that Muslims in Saudi Arabia should have your sympathy because their religious views matter. In Saudi Arabia, the marginalized community will probably be atheists or Christians or Hindus or someone who is not Muslim. I'm talking about socially prevalent biases. And in societies like yours, there is, like Canada, for example, or America, there is significantly more violent bias against Muslims than there is against Scientologists.
This is
Now, you
absolutely
trying to
factually
address
wrong, but
this,
I cannot.
you trying to address this by saying, I have met two people from this, I have met two people from that, is neither here nor there. It doesn't mean
But
anything.
that statement you just said, it's actually factually wrong. I can give an example
Which one? Which one?
where the violent bias against Scientology like is higher than Muslims.
A violent bias against Scientology is higher than Muslims, is
But
what I
I
said.
would say more than 10 times actually.
Violent bias against Scientology is higher than violent bias against Muslims?
100%.
Give me the stats.
Like you want me to exactly like now if I like
Give me
open
the
up,
source of the stats. I'll look into it. We can talk about it when you come back next time.
let
Give me
me
the
complete the state.
statistics. Give me the statistics that show that violent bias against Scientologists is higher than violent bias
Can I
against Muslims.
complete the statement, please?
Sure.
Let's say the statistics which come up are, let's say only one Scientology person was killed, and let's
Why
say,
are we going into let's say? Just give me the stats. Now you
oh
said
my
it is
god, just
statistically wrong. Give me
okay.
the stats.
I will send the stats to you, and we can
My
have it.
email address is vimoh@vimoh.in. Just mail it
Sure,
to me. I'll take a look at it. Cool.
sure. Thank you.
Chalo. Bye bye.
Bye.
The last person we are going to talk to is Mahesh. But before that, I will thank Krishna Sharma for the 100 rupees super chat. And they say, foreign, happy Christmas, by the way. And DAB can do to make a world an urban suburban. Oh, DAB नहीं DBA होता है. I thought you were talking about a DAB or something. DBA, Dalit Bahujan Adivasi. What can Dalit Bahujan Adivasi do to make world and urban suburbites understand how big and prevalent casteism is still today. There are scholars from Dalit Bhujan Adivasi backgrounds, share their work, talk to people about it. And by the way, it's not Dalit Bhujan Adivasi's job to do this. They have done enough labor, they have done enough intellectual labor to convince people of things. It's not their job. It is the job of the upper caste to expand their horizons and understand where Dalit Bhujan Adivasi people are coming from and what their problems are. हम लोग हर बार मतलब हम लोग मतलब अर्बन सवर्ण लोग हम लोग हर बार दलित बहुजन आदिवासी के पास जाके नहीं बोल सकते तू मुझे समझा कास्टिज्म क्या होता है इफ दे चूज नॉट टू टॉक टू अस इट्स एंटायरली विद इन देयर राइट्स हमारा काम है अपने होराइजन को एक्सपैंड करना एंड अंडरस्टैंड ओके या थैंक यू by the way there's a super chat from Samarth also he says merry christmas Vimoh thank you Samarth if you are celebrating to you also बड़ा दिन बोल देते भाई एथियस्ट लाइव स्ट्रीम पे मेरी क्रिसमस कौन बोलता है ठीक है the last person is Mahesh. Hi Mahesh.
हेलो,
हाँ बोलो
आवाज आ रही है मेरी पूरी
आ
सही
रही
से?
हो आ रही आ रही है
हाँ, तो आपने पिछली बार कहा था कि वाई के आंसर्स नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ क्वेश्चंस ऐसे हैं जिन जो वाई से स्टार्ट होते हैं, उनके आंसर्स तो हैं।
हाँ श्योर
तो फिर
मैंने ये कब कहा कि वाई से स्टार्ट होने वाला कोई भी क्वेश्चन मीनिंगफुल नहीं है मैंने बोला कि ये जो वाई जैसे
हुँ,
सिर्फ वाई लगा देने से एक
हुँ,
सवाल वैलिड नहीं बन जाता दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज
अच्छा। हुँ,
सेइंग
और मेरा एक और क्वेश्चन है, ये किसी यूट्यूबर के बारे में, तो नाम बोल सकता हूँ?
प्रेफरेबली नॉट पर अपना क्वेश्चन रखो बिना नाम बोल के
ये एक इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा नॉन प्रॉफिटेबल चैनल है,
अच्छा हाँ बोलो
जानेंगे?
हाँ
हाँ, तो उन पे आपके व्यूज़ क्या हैं?
ही इज़ अ सेल्फ हेल्प गुरु और क्या क्या व्यूज़ उसके ऊपर ही इज़ लाइक देयर इज़ अ लॉट आई पब्लिश्ड अ वीडियो ऑन माय
हुँ,
हिंदी चैनल टुडे इट्स द
हुँ,
चैनल इज़ विमो एक्सप्लेन्स उसके आप उसके ऊपर
हुँ,
जाके देख लो लेटेस्ट वीडियो बाबागिरी के बारे में है कि हर कोई बाबा बनना चाहता है सो
हुँ,
आई थिंक वो उनके ऊपर भी अप्लाई करता है एक बड़े हद तक ही इज़ अ सेल्फ हेल्प गुरु द ट्रेडिशन ऑफ सेल्फ हेल्प गुरुज इज़ क्वाइट ओल्ड देर स्प्रेड अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड charismatic individuals who try to help people with their lives and also in the process sell some stuff वो नॉन प्रॉफिट नहीं है यूट्यूब पे पैसे ना बनाने का डिसीजन सिर्फ इसलिए लिया जाता है क्योंकि वो जो ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं रियल वर्ल्ड में सेमिनार्स वगैरह वहाँ पैसे
हुँ,
चार्ज करते हैं
पर चलो वो फिर मेरे को पता नहीं चलेगा, तो फिर मैं बोल नहीं पाऊँगा।
हम्म
हुँ, एक और मेरा क्वेश्चन था, मैं याद करता हूँ। हाँ, आपका फिलॉसफी पे व्यू क्या है?
किस फिलोसफी पे
फिलॉसफी इन जनरल।
भाई एवरीथिंग इज अ फिलोसफी फाशिज्म इज अ फिलोसफी एंड स्टोइसिज्म इज अ फिलोसफी व्हाट आर यू टॉकिंग अबाउट
चलो, मैं खुद ही इतना डीप जानता नहीं हूँ, तो फिर इस पे भी नहीं बोल पाऊँगा। अब
नहीं
मेरा
ये सवाल पता है ये एक सवाल है आपका पॉलिटिकल
हुँ,
साइंस पे क्या व्यू है पॉलिटिकल साइंस में तो बहुत कुछ आता है ये बहुत ब्रॉड
हुँ,
क्वेश्चन हो जाता है हम्म
हुँ। और मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन होगा, जावेद अख्तर पे आपके क्या व्यूज़ हैं?
I like him. I think he's an atheist. I think yeah, and I've seen
हुँ,
some videos of his. I think he's an important presence because he's an influential person who's openly atheistic, और
हुँ,
उससे फर्क तो पड़ता है. मतलब हम लोगों का जो representation नहीं है popular circles में
हुँ,
जावेद अख्तर जैसे लोगों की वजह से है.
हुँ। और आप कुछ एथिक्स चैनल के बारे में बता पाएँगे?
मतलब चैनल के नाम
हुँ,
हिंदी में या इंग्लिश में
हिंदी, इंग्लिश दोनों।
इंडिया में या इंडिया के बाहर
फिर इंग्लिश में इंडिया के बाहर भी तो होंगे ना ज़्यादातर। हिंदी और इंग्लिश में
नहीं
फिर
इंडिया
कहीं
में
पता
इंग्लिश
चलेगा।
चैनल है जैसे हमारे इंडिया में एक चैनल है साइंस इज डोप
हाँ,
जो कि इंग्लिश में है
उनको फ़ॉलो करता हूँ मैं।
इफ़ यू वांट टू टॉक टू पीपल ऑन अ लाइव स्ट्रीम देयर इज ह्यूमन विद साइंस एंड कुछ और चैनल भी हैं साइंस साइंस जर्नी एक चैनल है एंड द रैशनल वर्ल्ड एक चैनल है लोकली पाकिस्तान में गालिब कमाल हैं और हारिस सुल्तान हैं और एक एक चैनल है हिमांशु का लेक्चर व्हिच इज़ अ यूट्यूब चैनल नॉट अ लाइव स्ट्रीम
हुँ,
उसको भी देख सकते हो फिर मेरे तो एक चैनल ये है एक हिंदी में
हुँ,
है वेमो एक्सप्लेन्स वो
हुँ।
देख सकते हो और या
ठीक है, थैंक यू,
या थैंक यू महेश थैंक यू
थैंक यू।
So that was Mahesh. And before I move further, I would like to thank. अरे क्या हो गया? Out of Context has sent a 400 rupees super sticker. Thank you, Out of Context. Really appreciate it. Mautik Gamveer ने भेजा है एक 400 रुपये का super sticker. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Again, I'll remind everyone that I'm a full-time content creator, and it is because of contributions from people like you that I'm able to do what I do. This channel is sponsored by you. You are the sponsors. That's why there are no ads. I mean, there are no commercial breaks. Maybe there are ads for people who watch it later. But yeah, I will remind everyone that you can listen to the audio versions of this podcast on www.vimoh.in, where you will always also find links to all the audio apps on which the podcast is available. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/Vimoh. That's VIMOH. If you want to just make a one-time donation, you can do so by visiting my blog at vimoh.stck.me and clicking the support button where you can just make a contribution of an amount of your choice. There's also merch at kadakmerch.com/Vimoh Live. That's KADAKMERCH, kadakmerch.com/Vimoh Live, VIMOHLIVE. वहाँ पे टी-शर्ट्स हैं, हुडीज़ हैं और मग्स हैं. So when you buy, I also get paid a certain amount of money, and that also helps me keep running this channel. I will remind also people that my Hindi channel is active again. I've posted some videos, that means. And it is at Vimoh Explains. If you search for youtube.com/@Vimoh Explains, you'll find the channel. Please subscribe to it and share it. A lot of people come on this live stream and keep saying, "Sir, Hindi में बात कीजिए." First of all, sir मत बोलो. दूसरा, हिंदी में बात मैं तब कर लेता हूँ जब कोई हिंदी में सवाल पूछता है. अगर सवाल ही अंग्रेजी में आता है तो मैं हिंदी में कैसे बात करूँगा? So I try to keep it open to both English speakers and Hindi speakers. So if you're just looking for Hindi content, go to Vimoh Explains. It's a fully Hindi channel. वहाँ पे English का कुछ content नहीं मिलेगा तुमको. उसको देख सकते हो. वहाँ पे मैं एथीज़म, पॉप कल्चर तो नहीं, एथीज़म, कल्चर, रिलीजन के बारे में बात करता हूँ. And with that, we reach the end of today's episode. Let me just that थोड़े टाइम पहले, have you seen The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, which talks about law of attraction, your views on the scientific basis shown for the theory? Full answer नहीं दे पाऊंगा क्योंकि अब टाइम नहीं है, but there is no scientific basis to the theory. If you want, you can ask me in the next live stream and I'll answer it in more detail. And with that, let's see. Yeah, I will see you all. Today is Saturday, December 24. आज का लाइव स्ट्रीम यहीं समाप्त हुआ. अगली बार आपसे मिलूंगा वेडनेसडे को 9:30 PM पे. And when that happens, we will talk more about atheism and religion and culture and whatever else you want to talk about. Until then, hold on. इसको हटाओ. Until then, please take care of yourselves and have a great few days ahead. I really want to say have a great week ahead, but I can never do that because this show happens on 2 days of the week. So have a great 4 days ahead, and I'll see you on Wednesday at 9:30 PM. Good night.